bad, but inflation's still poking us in the ribs. That's going to warrant more of this wait-and-see posture from the Fed.
Yeah, better news out of revised GDP data. The Commerce Department reporting the U.S. economy growing at a 3.3% pace from April to June. That's a 3% higher than the initial estimates.
The upward revision is for good news because consumer spending was stronger. It's still a number that's very much exaggerated by trade, the same way the first quarter contraction was exaggerated to the downside. So the reality is the economy probably nets out somewhere in the middle at about a 2% annual growth rate, net of inflation.
Meanwhile, any reason to worry about President Trump's move to fire Fed Board Governor Lisa Cook?
If markets do start to see compromising the Fed's independence as a real risk, you'd have a full-on freak out in markets. We wouldn't be talking about a stock market that hit a record high yesterday and bond yields that have been moving lower in recent days. It'd be a decidedly different story. So the risk is out there. So far, it's still seen as a low probability.
Yeah, Cook has filed a lawsuit challenging President Trump's attempt to fire her this week. She's represented by Washington attorney Abby Lowell, who previously represented Hunter Biden. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we're already stop and go eastbound 440 between 65 and 24. Then northbound 65, brake tapping up to the south loop. Eastbound 40 there on the south loop over to 65. And then east and westbound east loop, you've got some brake tapping there. We do have a crash reported on the right shoulder, 40 westbound approaching 24 downtown there at exit 211. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Welcome in. My name is Matt Murphy, and I may or may not be responsible for several of those accidents that Ken Weaver just told you about on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. How are you? Hope everybody's doing well today. It is 7 minutes, just about 7 minutes after 3 o'clock. I made it to my appointed duties. My record remains unblemished. I've yet to be late for my appointed duties. Although, technically, maybe I was late for the Welcome Matt crossover segment between Chad and myself, but I don't believe that counts. I believe that's extracurricular activity. Hello, friends, and welcome. I hope you're good on this Thursday edition. This Thursday for you. I don't guess it's an edition. This is an edition of the Matt Murphy Show. It's an August 28, 2025 one. It's our 874th visit together on these airwaves on a lot of different platforms. We like to tell you about them at the beginning of the show because I want to remind you, I do that a lot because I don't want to leave anybody out. If you're watching or listening on some rando, weirdo app or whatever, I want to make sure that you're included too. But at the same time, I want to make sure that you understand that if you leave the radio, if you leave 99.7 FM and you go other places, there's plenty of opportunity for you to continue to listen to, or dare I say, watch the show. I mean, if you watch the show, you will see right now. I mean, Jackson, tell the folk right now, if they're watching the show, they will see that clearly I got into an altercation with the unicorn earlier today, and the unicorn threw up on me.
A lot of colors.
A lot of colors going on, baby. A lot of colors going on.
They eat a lot of candy.
That's right. Exactly, Weaver. Like, the, what is that? The Taste the Rainbow? The Skittles?
Yeah, they eat those rainbow Skittles.
I mean, that's what I hear. Rainbows and unicorn farts. That's what we're always told. Anyway, hello, Ken. How are you?
How about you boys?
You doing all right?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah, it's another day, another dollar. Another day in paradise,
yes,
as
sir.
they say.
Yes, sir.
Jackson, what about you?
Doing all right.
Hey, Jackson, do we or do we not have an announcement that we're allowed to make later on in today's show?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Tomorrow's not Tuesday. I'm not
tomorrow.
here on Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Can we do it tomorrow?
We can do it tomorrow.
As a birthday gift to me?
Yes.
I was getting ready to say Tuesday is when Wimpy pays everybody for their burgers.
I mean, yeah, I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Did you ever see that movie back in the day with Robin Williams, Ken?
I have never seen that movie.
May I offer you a friendly piece of advice?
Don't.
Don't. Man, a lot. You know what? If you watch that, I almost want you to watch it, Ken, because if you watch that movie, I think you will come away with the same feeling that I had at the end of it. At the end of that movie, I thought to myself, because there's makeup and hair and scenery, and I thought to myself, look at the insane amount of money and effort that went into boring me. I mean, some of them just, they're not all hits. Some of them are misses. But enough about this show today. So we've got the radio dial. You've got all of the app platforms like Spotify and TuneIn and iHeart and these types of things. You can also find us on Talk Television. We invite you to go over there. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. All of those platforms available for you so you can carry us wherever you want to go. And then, of course, there's our own app. You can download that and take us where you go, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. One of my favorite things to do on a daily basis between 3 and 7 o'clock is talk to you on the telephone, 615-737-9986. I find that intimate form of communication the most fulfilling when we address many of these issues from around the state, around the country, around the globe. You're invited to call us up. You can also hit us up on the super text line, same telephone number, 615-737-9986. But if you are the shy type, if you're busy, if you can't hold for the few minutes that it takes for us to get to you on the phone, or for whatever reason, you just want to communicate via text, that option available to you as well. You can find me on the X machine at Matt Murphy Show, Go right ahead and find me over there. Follow me over there. I'm trying to get to 20,000 by the end of the year, and I'm woefully behind. I'm sorely behind. Don't make me beg. Come September, October, I'm going to start begging. So go over there and follow me. I think I'm a pretty good follow. I'm a little angrier on the X machine, although I think I'm also funnier on the X machine because I'm unshackled from the confines of the FCC. All of that to say, we've got a big show for you today, and obviously we're covering some of the latest fallout over the Minneapolis, Minnesota shooting. The traditional camps have gone into the traditional places, and they're saying the traditional things. Although I will say I was disgusted by Trey Gowdy. We had a brief cross. I was in Donaldson this morning. So let me start this show with a point of personal privilege, tell you how my day's gone.
Let's hear it, brother.
So I went out this morning bright and early. Alarm went off, Ken, at 5:15. I was reminded why I no longer do morning radio when the alarm went off at 5:15. Now, when I was doing morning radio, my alarm went off at 3. And my show started at 6 a.m., not at 5 a.m. like Dan Mandis's with Nashville's Morning News. Alarm goes off at 3. I got into the office normally about 5 o'clock. After doing a little bit of research at home, then I would do a little more research in the office, and then off we go at 6 a.m. in the morning. I was never accustomed to it. Ken, did you ever get used to morning radio?
I got used to it. I guess I should say I was able to tolerate it, but I'll say this, it was a lot easier in my 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Once I got to my 50s.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going the other way. I could not have, if I had attempted to do morning radio in my 20s, when I had a propensity to, shall we say, howl at the moon.
Yeah.
I would have been summarily fired on multiple occasions.
That happened to me one time.
Did it?
Yeah.
You overslept?
Yeah.
I overslept one time, and I did that. And I'm so ashamed of this story.
Yeah, it was terrible. I felt terrible.
I know.
And I still, to this day, sometimes, you know how sometimes you'll think about something that, was a long time ago, but it just kind of gives you a gut punch?
Man, just the heebie-jeebies, just like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I know. I bet our stories are similar. I woke up.
Tell the stories.
Well, my story, I was new to the radio station in Montgomery, Alabama, and I was worried that I was going to get fired. And so I said that I got into a car accident. But actually what happened was I overslept. And that was far worse. And so eventually I had to come clean about that. And it was insanely embarrassing. I was
Did you get fired?
I did not. I got forgiven, which was one of the nicest blessings I've ever received in my life. The guy forgave me, but the owner of the company. Anyway, that's my story. That's basically. But I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was supposed to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was supposed to do I did a news hour where I would not like Ken Weaver does the real news. This is like I was just ripping and reading. We call it in the business. I would do, national, state, local news, sports news, and then kind of recycle it at the half hour before the sports show came on at 7 o'clock in the morning on WACV. Well, the sports guy was Jim Fife, who was also the voice of the Auburn Tigers for many, many years before his untimely passing, and he was taken over by Rod Bramblett, who has also since passed away. But bottom line was this. Jim went on and tried. Jim got there at about 6:10 in the morning and realized that we were off air and desperately tried to save the radio station. And I wish I had an audio recording of that because it was if I was not mortified for being late, it would have been some of the funniest things you've ever heard because he turned the mic on, but then did not realize that he had turned the mic on. And so you hear him verbalizing his frustration with not being able to turn the mic on. And I'm listening to all of this driving 90 miles an hour to the radio station. Anyway, I did that again today. I drove 90 miles an hour to the radio station, but I was not late. So, yeah, this morning, what a great event out at Edley's Barbecue in Donaldson. Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News doesn't get out and about very much, but he was out and about this morning. And I went by. I got up early, 5:15. Got out there about 6:30 or so just to say hey to the folks. Steve Ducey, who, is dead to me, was out there.
Why? What happened?
Steve Ducey's dead to me, Ken.
Goodness.
As he wouldn't come on with Dan.
He wouldn't?
No.
He said no?
No, it's worse. I think it would be better if he had said no. So Steve Ducey of Fox and Friends, and in the interest of full disclosure, I think Peter Ducey is the far more talented Ducey, but whatever. Steve Ducey was out at Edley's. And, I don't know if he's doing – I don't watch Fox and Friends anymore, so I don't know what they do anymore. But I'm assuming they're doing like a barbecue tour because I think they were going to Birmingham after Nashville. But and that's a 3-hour drive. 1, 2, 3, 3-hour drive. I know exactly how far that drive is because I drove it every weekend for the better part of a year. So he's there, and there's a room full of folks, and most of them are Super Talk 99.7 WTN listeners. And so I get there, I say hey to Dan. I'm walking through the room. Dan's off in WTN corner. And it was the right call because it was a quieter location and it was necessary to do the broadcast. But Dan felt like he was put at the kids' table at Thanksgiving, which is poor Dan. And there was and it is true that an unhoused fella realized that there was free food about, and so he came in and got himself some free food. You know what I'm saying? An unhoused fella, Ken?
Yes, sir.
And I don't know. You know what? That fella got himself a belly full of breakfast tacos and then fell right to sleep there in front of Dan Mandis. And I said, dang, Dan, this is probably – I can't help myself, right? And I looked at Dan. I was like, man, this is like most of your audience. You put them right to sleep. Look at that. He's a P1, Dan. Anyway.
The homeless guy?
Yeah, the homeless guy. So, eventually, he gathered his stuff together and got out of there eventually. But anyway, so Dan's like, I got to get Steve Ducey. And I said, I'll help you. And so I went around, and after they did one of their cut-ins on Fox and Friends, and, he's got 14 people around him or whatever, he was signing autographs and taking pictures with folks. And I went up to him and said, hey, Steve, I'm Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, the local talk radio station in Nashville. And we're broadcasting over in the corner, and I pointed to where we were, and I said, my morning host, Dan Mandis, would absolutely love 5 minutes of your time if you got it. And he said, I'll see what we can do. I'll ask my guys, and I'll see what we can do. I'll see what we can do, he said. I said, okay. Because I knew he had other hits to do. And then he did an interview with Marsha Blackburn, and he did another interview with some of the folks at Edley's Barbecue, and these cut-ins happened over the course of the next hour. And in the meantime, I kind of got a lay of the land and figured out who his handlers were. And I went to one of the handlers and I said, hey, by the way, I know y'all are busy packing up and everything when you get done. But when you get done, Dan Mandis will be on for another hour. And we would love to have you on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Okay, I'll talk to folks. I'm here to tell you, as I witnessed it this morning, Steve Ducey spoke to every person in that restaurant except for Dan Mandis.
Yeah. That's terrible, man.
He walked from booth to booth, Ken. He was, hey, how are you? No, let me sit down for a while. I got all the time in the world. Tell me about Mama and them. How's your family? I think he woke the homeless guy up to say hey to him. He talked to every person in that place, and poor Dan never got his interview. And so I say to you, in the spirit of camaraderie, in the spirit of fellowship, and in the spirit of solidarity with my man in the morning, Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News, Steve Ducey's dead to me. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's not right, man.
That ain't right.
Dan Mandis is a Marconi Award winner.
You know what? So I told Dan this story this morning. I left out the fact that Steve talked to everybody else at the restaurant. But I told Dan this story, and Dan said, he said his first sentence. I said, he said maybe he'd try, blah, blah, blah. And Dan looked at me and said, did you tell him I won a Marconi?
So he did bring that up.
Dan did. I didn't. So Dan, but anyway, I tried, and Dan is accusing me of stealing his little barbecue slider, which he wasn't going to eat to begin with. And I also saved his life because let me tell you something. That thing was hot. And if Dan Mandis had put that in his mouth, he would have gone to the hospital.
Did you pop a pepperoni off his pie?
I did not pop a pepperoni off his pie. But I would suggest that that thing was way too hot for Mandis. And I saved him. And he wasn't going to eat it anyway. He'll say he was, but he wasn't. Not true. All right. Anyway, that was my morning. And so that was followed up by physical therapy. Thank you very much for doing much better. We got a little ways to go, but we're doing much better. And then I got the call from the truck place telling me that the SD card that was going to fix all of my problems was in, and all I had to do was stop by and pop it in. And the reason that I was late for our crossover with Chad Benson is because I was there for about a little better than an hour. I got the call at 1:15, got over there and was waiting there, and I left. Where's that? Antioch? Where's Hickory Hollow? Antioch?
Yeah.
And I left Antioch. I'm not going to name the dealership because if I name the dealership, I've just not been very – I'm saddened to tell you there's some good people over there, but just the overall experience has been a negative one. But I'll leave that there. I mean, I'm not here to bash companies. I'll just tell you, just be careful where you get your service done on your vehicles. That's what I'll leave it there.
Did you get it done?
What? You coming at me? You Sapicki's already coming at me.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
You're an easy target.
Come at me, bro. No, I mean, it's okay, Spiggy. I just went in for a little computer glitch. $3,000, and a week and a half later, I still haven't gotten it fixed.
$3,000?
No big deal. Yeah. Oh, the rear seal in my rear end housing has been repaired. The fluids in my differential has been replaced. The fuel induction worked. Man, I got a lot more pep in that thing than I did when I started. But the original reason that I was in has not been fixed.
So you're telling me your rear end's not working?
We'll find out at 3:35.
Is this the leaky bum show?
We'll find out at 3:35. Yeah, they're going to get me up on the rack and lube up the rear end, see if that'll fix the problem. You know what I mean?
Boys, it's not nincompoops time yet.
Oh, there you go, Ken. All right, so as you can hear, a salty Representative Scott Spiggy. You know why he's all full of himself is because the state of Tennessee got a pretty good report card on education, and he's very excited about that. We'll talk about that with Sapicki coming up in a couple of minutes. Would love to talk to you. Obviously, we're going to discuss the latest in the situation up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have a special guest in the 4 o'clock hour, too. Pastor Alan Jackson will be on with us via Zoom. Excited about that conversation. He's got a new show starting on Super Talk 99.7 WTN on the weekends. And obviously, most of you, whether you attend his services or not, know exactly who Pastor Alan Jackson is. And I'm excited to get an opportunity to talk with him. And, out of the gate, I'm going to talk to him about Minneapolis, Minnesota. And what helps him in these times and what helps him as a church leader during these times. So all of that to come. Your telephone calls, your comments. If you think I'm a whiner like Sapicki does, just let me know on the super text line. 24 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for the one and only Glock Store. Folks, let's talk about the Glock Store for a moment. I admit to you, I feel like I've been shooting guns since I started shooting at 22 when I was 9 years old, maybe 10 years old. And I've been shooting guns ever since. But I did not know what a compensation was. I did not know how that worked. I did not know what a C-cut was. Well, I do now, and I'm excited about taking my Glocks in, my 17 and my 43, and getting the C-cuts done with those two Glocks. C-cuts are short for compensator cuts. These are slots in the barrel and slide that redirect some of the bullet blast into a V pattern. What this does, it helps keep you on target. It reduces muzzle flip, they call it, and reduces recoil, which keeps you on target, makes you a better shot. These cuts are identical to the ones that were offered in the high-end Gen 3. Compensated Glocks, I should say, have not been available for a while, but they can compensate your Glock at the Glock Store. 10 days or less. That's the turnaround time. And if you're not sold on the idea, you don't have to believe me. If you're not sold on the idea that these things work, then, friends, go and get the sample bullet pack for $6.99, and you can shoot your choice of a C-cut Glock 17, Glock 19, Glock 43X. And if you have one of these makes, bring yours in, shoot yours, and shoot theirs, and you'll see the difference. Don't forget to bring that Glock in because you'll want to leave your barrel and slide with the Glock Store after you see and experience the difference. The Glock Store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere online at glockstore.com.
And the FBI has arrested a Murfreesboro woman allegedly threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. This story and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We're getting that newscast momentarily. I know we said we were going to have Robbie Starbuck on today, and I have had to shuffle a few things around, and that is all on me. It is not on Robbie, and I apologize for that. I just have to bite the bullet when I tell you that I'm discombobulated. I mean that I am discombobulated. I try to be more combobulated every day, but it doesn't work sometimes. So I apologize. Maybe one of these days, the soon-to-be erstwhile producer of this radio show, one Jackson Williams, will get me straight. Jackson, what is that flashing in there?
What do you mean?
Occasionally, I see something flashing like a flash bulb. Like I don't know if it's happening in my mirror, in my glass, or what, but it looks like an old-timey photograph is being taken.
Maybe there's an old-time... Ken Weaver, are you an old-time photographer?
No, sir.
I'll figure it out.
Man, Ken, you got a look of one, though. Man, couldn't you see Ken with his long beard with the whole thing, and he gets the whole tripod set up, and then he goes, okay, everybody hold, and he gets under the thing?
I'd need a ladder.
Ken, have you ever been told that if news doesn't work out, you'd have a career in Pigeon Forge?
You know, I don't know that I like Jackson as he gets more comfortable on this show. I'm beginning to like him less and less. Although that one
Wasn't at you. That was funny.
That's pretty spot on.
That's job security, boys.
That's pretty spot on. I mean, just give the man a leather apron and a hammer and an anvil, and he's a blacksmith.
Hey, put me on that Cracker Barrel sign.
Old Uncle Weaver.
Oh, Prospector Weaver.
Prospector Weaver. He just came in from the mines. We got to do the real news. Representative Scott Spicky's on the way next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, the FBI has arrested a 22-year-old woman for allegedly threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. Court records indicate Penelope R. Convertino of Murfreesboro left a voicemail at Blackburn's Nashville office stating, quote, "My name is Mother Effer, and I'm going to kill Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to shoot her with a gun. I'm going to blow up her head on national TV," among other explicit and threatening comments. Convertino's charged with threatening to murder a federal official, intending to impede, intimidate, and interfere with official duties. If convicted for something like that, you get up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Investigators in Minneapolis combing through hundreds of pieces of evidence connected with the suspect in the deadly mass shooting yesterday. This is Police Chief Brian O'Hara at today's briefing.
No investigation, no evidence will ever be able to make sense of such an unthinkable tragedy. That being said, we will do our best to determine and identify a specific motive.
Well, they're looking at it as a hate crime and at the writings of the suspect.
This is an individual who, unfortunately, like so many other mass shooters that we have seen in this country too often and around the world, had some deranged fascination with previous mass shootings.
Good news today. Hospital officials said the 9 victims, including 7 children still being treated, will make full recoveries. Elsewhere here in Tennessee, Channel 4 has a story of a Robertson County man who found a bullet hole in his home while out in his garden. Albert Burton says in his part of Robertson County, he's used to hearing gunshots from people hunting deer, turkey, or target practice. He gets concerned when they miss their target.
Luckily, this side of the house, if it gunned a little more, the window, we usually sit here in the den and watch TV, or again, it could be embedded in the wall any place. I would have never noticed it if it hadn't come out here.
He just hopes this incident encourages neighbors to be more mindful of where they're shooting. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we're coming to a complete stop at times. Northbound 65 up to the South Loop, then eastbound 40 over to 65. Same thing for eastbound 24 right after the northern split north of downtown. One crash still showing, the right shoulder block, 40 westbound approaching I-24 downtown, exit 211. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Shane Ring and Cover Nash is your local healthcare concierge located in Brentwood. So if you are like me and you want to sit down with someone and look at them in the eye and talk to them face to face when you're dealing with something as intimate and important as healthcare, Shane's your guy. He's located in Brentwood. Now, most of what you do and most of what you talk about can be handled virtually. So if you prefer the phone or if you want to do a Zoom call or one of those things, you can do that as well. But Shane wants you to know that he's right here local in our community. And that's important to me because when I call a call center somewhere, I mean, I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what kind of script they're working off of. And sadly, more often than not, these folks are selling health insurance products. That means they work for the health insurance company that they're selling. They don't work for you. You're kind of the end consumer, right? Shane Ring works for you, and the products that he looks for on the health insurance aisles, if you will, he finds the right one that fits your budget, that fits your life, that fits your needs. That's what it's all about. And sadly, a lot of people, because they get confused, they don't understand it. Shane Ring can help make the complex simple. Give him a call today at Cover Nash, 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at covernash.com. Shane Ring, your health insurance concierge at Cover Nash. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is your one-stop shop for all things body pain. Friends, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team at the Wellness Institute, they want to see you. They believe that they can alleviate your pain without relying on painkillers. So many of us do, or so many of us have in the past, without relying on spinal injections and without considering surgery. Now, Dr. Mitchell understands, and he and I have talked about this. He gets it. You know, there comes a time where surgery is your only option, but you should exhaust your other options before you commit to that sort of thing. Do so at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Right now, they're running the Big Daddy Trump special, $12 for a comprehensive examination, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They just want you to see what life can be like pain-free. And you begin that journey by making a telephone call to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or online at painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. So I find it amazing when you bring up when you bring up what type of vehicle you own on this in this format, and I invariably we talk about our private lives, we talk about the aspects of our daily life. What I find fascinating, especially with the advent of the super text line, the number of people that are so earnest in letting you know that you selected the wrong vehicle. So I drive a GMC Sierra. And I've loved that truck, and it's got a little computer glitch. And I've got all these people. Like, I got one guy telling me I should have gotten a Chevrolet. Dude, what do you think a GMC is? I mean, I don't.
Here's your card.
I don't know. I'm just. Well, we can all agree on one thing, though. I don't know if y'all have heard about the new plan for the Fords, but if you buy a new Ford truck, I don't know if you've heard this, Sapicki. You buy a new Ford truck, and they give you a puppy. It's true. It's a new program. They give you a puppy because they want you to have something to walk home with when it breaks down.
Wow.
Hey! Anyway.
I like all trucks.
I do, too. Representative Scott Sapicki joins us in studio. It's been a while, man.
It has been a while. We've been very busy.
How you doing?
Excellent. It's been a long summer. We've been working through a lot of the bills that we've created over the last General Assembly, a cell phone ban, recess, things like that in education. And then we were going over the numbers we had for our academic progress in the state of Tennessee, and we have some very good news on an otherwise dreary day for news, which will happen in Minneapolis.
Well, I want to start in Minneapolis, then
Okay.
I want to get to the good news.
Sure.
Start with the bad. Just your thoughts. I mean, obviously, it's just gut-wrenching. It's inexplicable. We try to make sense of the senseless. It's almost impossible to do, but any thoughts?
Well, there's no way to look at other than mental illness. It is a mental health problem that we have that's plaguing our country right now. I told you off the air, when we had our COVID special session, we had the medical people come in and testify to the committee I was on, and we were asking about gender dysphoria, about being a mental illness, and they stopped us in our tracks and said, no, it's not a mental illness anymore. And we said, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we've changed that. It's always been, gender dysphoria has always been a mental illness, and now it's not looked at as a mental illness.
And see, this is why but there's a lot of reasons that I could never do what you do, but this is one of them because, so the basic concept of gender dysphoria is that you are telling me, I'm not telling you, you are informing me that a mistake was made, that you were born with body parts that you should not have been born with. That's the basic understanding that I have of gender dysphoria, that I should have been a boy, but I'm a girl. I should have been a girl, but I'm a boy. Mm-hmm. And they're saying that that's not a form of mental illness?
Not anymore. And that could be our first problem right there.
I feel like before you know it, Sapicki, they'll be telling us that things like mental depression is not a real mental illness.
Schizophrenia is not. It is a slippery slope right now.
My goodness.
And so we've got to get a handle on this. And you look at these individuals, and no matter what it is, transgender, whatever, anytime somebody can look down the barrel of anything and squeeze the trigger on another human being, that's a mental health
100%.
problem. There's nothing normal about that.
Right.
So we have to come at this of, let's look at the problem. The problem is mental illness in our country right now. I'm going to give a lot of credit right here to the Trump administration. President Trump just came out with a grant program for states to be able to pull grant money down to build mental health facilities. Mm-hmm. We have to get places rebuilt and have capacity to let these individuals who are struggling, right, with mental health issues, to be able to go to inpatient places to get the help they need. Now, I'm not advocating going back to what the institutions used to be, the asylums used to be, no. But good quality facilities. We have one down in Murray County that's excellent, that gives people the opportunity in a crisis situation to go get help, so that we don't have the problems we have in our society right now.
And you're saying the president has offered money coming to the states.
That's correct.
To facilitate these types of...
To help us rebuild this infrastructure that's being decimated.
We absolutely need it. And we need to look at and I know that they exist. I know that long-term facilities exist for the mentally insane.
Mm-hmm. But the word's capacity. We need more capacity.
That's what I was about to say is, do we need more of those?
We do. And inpatient, outpatient, like people that are struggling a little bit, go in and get some help and don't need to stay, right? But there are those individuals that we can argue, Covenant, right, or Minneapolis or Colorado, that these individuals probably needed and identified themselves as struggling, needed to get help. inpatient.
Well, what infuriates me is how the political left, in politicizing these issues, suggests that we need to shut the conversation down in the manner that you just described when you said, transgender individuals or gender dysphoric individuals have mental illness. Whoa, 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 you can't say that. Well, I'm not pretending that I understand the correlation here, but I would suggest that there is plenty, I think 9 examples in the last 4 years, including Covenant, of individuals that self-identified as transgender who then went on to commit horrific acts like this. Is there a connective tissue? And all I'm asking for are for non-biased, sensible people who do this type of thing in the field to look into this to see if that correlation creates causation. And we're being told by the political left, shut that down. We're not allowed to go there. And I'm like, why can't we ask these questions when we have so many examples of this thing happening?
Well, the breadcrumbs, right, are leading us to a spot. And it's like we're getting to where we need to go, and then the left's coming in and saying, no, stop paying attention to where you're going. We have to get past this. And I will challenge some of my Democrat colleagues. They want to come on the air and sit here with me and debate about their policies they've had about gender dysphoria and transgenderism and the medical procedures and the reinforcement of this. I'll argue that you are doing more harm to these individuals than just getting them the help that they need.
Well, and from a psychological standpoint, I will say this, that we need to recognize that in some cases, and I believe this, I don't have any data in front of me to confirm this, but I would say that just based on everything that I've done with it, that these folks are looking for answers to their mental issues, and they're searching wherever they can try to find answers. And sometimes they're sold a bill of goods.
That's right.
About how much changing your pronouns or changing your identity or changing, how you think of yourself from a gender standpoint is going to solve so many of these issues. And frankly, I do not believe they do. And I think the data suggests that it does not work that way. And it is false solace for these individuals. And when they don't find it there, they become more lost, more desperate, more mentally ill, and more prone to this type of violence.
Amen. That's it. You said it. It is making sure that we're not reinforcing something that is a mental illness.
Right.
We are not telling them to go ahead and cut parts off of their bodies because it'll make them feel better.
Right.
Or take these drugs that'll help you feel better. It's not. It's about meeting them where they are, addressing their problem, and then getting them the help to get them back to where they should be.
Love it.
Period. And that's all it is. And so kudos to stop making it about President Trump here. This is a good program that every state should take advantage of and get these individuals, no matter who they are or what they are, get the help they need so that we don't have these problems in our society.
And Scott's just not whistling Dixie when he says that. If a liberal elected a leader wants to come on with, we've invited multiple different people from the political left on to be with Scott. You're always invited on this radio show. I take all comers, and whether it's Heidi or Gloria or After or whomever, what is it, JR? They
whatever.
Camp, all of them, any of them can come. Let's talk about some good news.
Yes,
Before we get into some of the good data, what do we have? Are we, 2-3 weeks in school year now?
Roughly, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
maybe.
Yeah. Second week of football season.
Are you good for you? Are you getting any feedback on some of the legislation that was passed, recess and cell phone?
Yes. So what's very interesting is we didn't push the cell phone ban past instructional time, right? We just left it at instructional time and left it up to the locals what they wanted to do. And what we're finding across the state, Matt, is a lot of them are choosing bell to bell.
Well, that's good.
And I've gotten some videos from some principals and some from administrators, and they're taking pictures of their cafeteria, and guess what you're seeing? The kids are talking to each other again. And you want to talk about mental health issues? Get the kids talking to each other again and let them learn how to socialize instead of being buried in their phones and searching on the internet for help. Let them talk to their buddies and their friends.
And get off social media where people are so mean and nasty and,
Right. Well, that's where I live all the time. So.
Well, me too.
But the other thing is recess. We're hearing very good things, especially from parents, attitudes of their young ones coming home excited about getting to go outside and play more. That's a big positive force. And
that's
so,
good.
If we can partner those two things with what we've already done in the General Assembly over the last, since COVID, right? I think we are getting Tennessee in K through 12, at least for sure K through 8, in a position where we're going to start to lead the country in education now.
All right, I want to take a quick break, pay some bills, and then when we come back, talk about some of this data that you're getting back.
You got it.
Some of the successes in education. We talk about the bad side of education too much. We need to talk about some of the good things that are happening. It's 10 until the top of the hour. Representative Scott Sapicki with us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for my friends at Advanced Hair. Let's talk about this for a moment. Advanced Hair restoration is different. Allow me to explain, because these details are pretty cool. And right now, you have an opportunity to take advantage of a soon-to-end savings event. It's the summer savings event. First off, Advanced Hair stands by their results with their before and afters online. You can see the results. They are simply second to none. Advanced Hair grows your own natural hair. It's guaranteed to grow. Number two, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology. It is a quality experience that is hard to find anywhere else in the industry. As a matter of fact, I would suggest that you can't. Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE procedure begins growing your own natural hair the very next day. It's quick, it's simple, it's easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule for the rest of the month, or maybe the rest of the summer, then you have an opportunity here, because a savings event is there. Advanced Hair Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollars, their best offer ever. For details or to schedule your free consultation, call 629-348-HAIR, 629-348-HAIR, or go online to advancedhair.com. Hi, folks. It's Matt Murphy for Defend Systems. You know, it's such an important time to talk about Defend Systems and Brink Fiddler. We had him on yesterday discussing the tragedy out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It reminds me of what I try to tell you every time I talk about Defend Systems, and that is the possibility of you finding yourself in a workplace violence situation, the possibility of you finding yourself in a mass shooter situation, the possibility of you finding yourself in some sort of active shooter response or rapid response medical is very, very, very low. Very low. But it's not zero. And so while I'm not here to scare you, I am here to tell you that hope is not a plan anymore. It's time to get trained. And the way that you do it, if you're a business owner, if you are a decision maker, any place that people gather, at a corporation, at a business where you have customers coming in all day long, maybe it's a church group or a church setting or perhaps a school, it is time to get trained with Defense Systems. They can give you the tools and the knowledge that you need in the unlikely event that something like this happens to you. It's invaluable, and it really does work. I've been through their courses. I've been through the TECC course as well, and I love the fact that I feel trained in the unlikely event that I would find myself in this situation. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or defensesystems.com.
And the FBI has arrested a Murfreesboro woman for threats against Senator Marsha Blackburn. This story and more coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I got people suggesting, Democrats, that you need to sit down with. The number one suggestion is our good friend Afton. I think Afton would do it. I can ask. Hey, Jackson, help me out here. Thank you very much. I can ask. I think Afton might do it.
She'd probably do it with me.
Yeah.
She'd probably come on the air with me.
2714 says he would destroy her view on things. Yeah, probably so.
In a nice way.
But in a very
nice way.
it's hard to be mean to Afton.
I'm not like you.
Oh, I'm nice. I was pussycat to Afton. I'm good. I'm all good.
Okay, Ken, you want to step in here and give me a testimony, Ken?
I had a Democrat on this week.
Murphy's been pretty nice relative to Murphy.
Relative on the Murphy meter of ugliness.
I didn't kick Torino out of the studio.
No,
I didn't actually kick Heidi out of the studio. I just told her if she didn't want to be called a liar, she could leave.
That's true. You've been harder on Republicans, actually.
I feel like it.
You have.
I mean,
been.
I was tough
Look
on
at
Lou
me.
Reeves. I was tough. Yeah.
And I keep coming back for more.
Let's. All right, we better get to this
Hey,
because
real quick.
Yeah.
In Tennessee, just to let everybody know, the General Assembly has funded an SRO in every school in K-12 across the state of Tennessee. We've also put money recurring the last 2 years for school safety to make sure metal detectors, anything for school safety. And we are very serious about making sure that we have anybody that wants to be able to carry a firearm, as long as they go through the training, like teachers, principals, things like that. Those are all options in Tennessee right now. So we have really we feel we have really been aggressive with this when it comes to school safety. So, schools.
a pretty good report card.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about it.
So I'll be real brief here. Coming out of COVID, we knew we had to do something. We were struggling. We were floundering after COVID. We went to phonics education. We went to more training for teachers and staff. We went back to summer school, brought on tutoring, academic screeners to monitor progress, increased discipline in the classroom, and had academic accountability. So what has that gotten us in the state of Tennessee? In 2009, in fourth grade reading, we ranked 38th. We're now 24th.
Okay. All right.
In 2009, eighth grade reading, we ranked 34th. We're now 21st.
That's good.
In fourth grade math, we were 45th, and now we're 13th. And in eighth grade math, we were 42nd, and now we're 20th.
Well, that's great news.
We are headed in the right direction very quickly with the things that we've enacted, and clearing the way for our teachers to spend more time doing what you and I pay them to do, is teach.
100%.
And
now, well, hold on. Wait a minute, Sapicki. I have it on good authority by some of those aforementioned Democrats that have been on the radio show that funding school choice in the state of Tennessee was going to be the doom of public education.
Wow, that's interesting. You brought that up. I have an answer for that if you don't mind.
I would love it.
So we spend roughly $7,500 a student on the school choice plan, right? Mm-hmm. We do $7,200 for a public school student, but hold on. The locals, by state law, have to contribute a certain percentage. On average, we're spending on a public school student $9,800. So sorry about your argument.
Yeah, but it doesn't hold water.
Since 2022, In grade 4, Tennessee ranks number 6th in reading and number 6th in math for improvement since 2022. And in 8th grade, Tennessee ranks number 1 in math and number 2 in reading for improvement in 2022 across all states. And ready for this? Here's where the rubber meets the road. In 2021, in English language arts, all the way through 3 through 8, we've had a 10% increase in our scores. In math, 13% increase. In science, 8.5%, and in social studies, 11%. And why is science and social studies important? Because if they can read and do math, they can do science and social studies. Mm-hmm. So here's my pitch to your listeners.
Yep.
In 2026, we have a governor's election. It is very important that you ask those candidates what their thoughts are in education. And are you going to continue the work that the General Assembly with Bill Lee have laid out on a clear path forward to make Tennessee the best in the country? Or is a governor going to come in and throw a monkey wrench into it and take us backwards?
It's a good question.
I'm telling you, Matt, we are headed in a direction that I'm very proud of with all the members of the General Assembly under the leadership of Governor Bill Lee, Cameron Sexton, and Lieutenant Governor McNally, that we understand that if you want to solve the issues on the back end of incarceration or drug use or alcoholism or unemployment, the key is education.
100%. I love it. I love everything about it. It's great news, and it's nice to get a little good news. We'll have you back to update us on how the other aspects of some of the legislation passed last year are going, and to kind of preview things that you're planning on the next legislative session. We'll have you back very soon.
You got it, my friend.
And you never know what we might want to talk about with old Scott Zapicki.
Thank you, man.
Football. Who's your team, by the way?
Well, the Badgers, because I played football at Wisconsin. They opened tonight against Miami.
Ah, that's a good one.
Wait, the Badgers play
Miami of Ohio.
Oh.
Easy, Ken. Settle down.
You see,
Easy, Ken.
both Ken and I got very excited about that game.
Easy, big fella.
I don't think that's going to be football. I think that's going to be a bloodbath.
That's going to be a whooping.
That's what Custer said.
That's going to be a whooping. Just beat Bama later on this year, would you?
Roll Tide.
Yeah. It's 1 after. It's time for the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pastor Alan Jackson of World Outreach Ministries coming up next.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, a Murfreesboro woman's been arrested by the FBI, charged with threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. Court records indicate 22-year-old Penelope R. Convertino allegedly left a voicemail at Blackburn's Nashville office, which stated, quote, "My name is Mother Effer, and I'm going to kill Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to shoot her with a gun. I'm going to blow up her head on national TV," among other explicit and threatening comments. The woman was charged with threatening to murder a federal official, intending to impede, intimidate, and interfere with official duties. That carries a prison sentence of up to 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine if someone's convicted. Investigators in Minneapolis searching for a specific motive in the deadly mass shooting yesterday. 2 dead, 18 others wounded. Police Chief Brian O'Hara at today's briefing.
15 of the injured are children between the ages of 6 and 15. 3 of those injured are adults in their 80s.
Yeah, the 2 dead are children ages 8 and 10. Meanwhile, hospital officials say they're still treating 9 patients, including 7 children. One of those critically injured. Officials say the writings of the suspect who died by suicide at the scene show an obsession with the idea of killing children. New CDC Director Susan Moneris says she's not leaving after the White House announced her firing after less than 1 month on the job. In another battle, Fed Board Governor Lisa Cook suing President Trump over his attempt to fire her, calling it unlawful.
This is different than what we're seeing with the Lisa Cook situation because there is an authority here for the president to fire her. She serves at the pleasure of the president in that role. So I think at this point it's a matter not of if, but when the president weighs in and does officially remove her from that position. The other big thing here, of course, is the big thing about the vaccine policy and those 4 senior officials at the CDC who have said they're resigning because of that pressure being put on Menares. One of them is the chief medical officer at the CDC. Another is the director of the immunization center there.
And that's ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers. And the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Berry Hill police say there's a crash 65 northbound at I-440. Rolling Mill Hill police say there's a crash 24 eastbound at I-40. That's going to be the east split, exit 50 A and B. And in Cheatham County, Highway Patrol says there's a crash 24 westbound between exit 24 and exit 19. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, friends, here we go. Hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show starts right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is just after 4 o'clock, 4:08 to be precise. Thank you for being with us. Whatever platform you might be viewing us on or listening on, we appreciate you. 99.7 FM. We're on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, really anywhere you have an app that plays music or news or information, we're there. We have our own, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. You can obviously go over to the website, 997WTN.com. And if that's not enough, we have the talk television side of things, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as Rumble. And I invite you to join us over there so you can see how the proceedings are made. And you can tell me on the Talk TV chat just how awesome you think my shirt is, because I am getting the business from everyone in this building about it.
That is the worst shirt I've ever seen.
Oh, come on now. You've seen much worse than this. No?
No. And compared to our next guest, He's blowing you out of the water in the wardrobe department, bud.
You know what I need to do? I need to take some clothing tips from our next guest because he's so good. I love everything about our next guest, and I'm so proud to be able to welcome him to the Matt Murphy Radio Show. He is Pastor Alan Jackson. He truly needs no introduction in our neck of the woods. Of course, you know him from World Outreach Church, and he founded that church in 1989. I had the wonderful privilege of meeting Alan and his wife, Kathy, at an event some months ago. And I found out that I needed to mind my P's and Q's because Kathy listens to us on occasion on the radio on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And it is a pleasure to welcome to our show Pastor Alan Jackson. Pastor, good afternoon. Welcome.
Hey, it's good to be with you, Matt. Thank you. And just for clarification, the church was founded in 1980. My dad did that.
My apologies. Am I right that you took over in 1989? Is that correct?
You got that right.
Okay, very good.
I do not offer fashion consultation.
Well, I blame my wife on most of things. I bought the shirt that I'm wearing today when she was out of town, and she likes to tell people that every time I wear it, Pastor. So talk to us a little bit. I can't imagine that folks aren't familiar with World Outreach, but tell us a little about the fundamental building blocks of your church and the message.
Yeah, it's an interdenominational church, which it just means on a typical weekend, we've got people here from about 40 different traditions, everything from Greek Orthodox to people who've never been to church before. But we're centered in the fundamentals of Scripture. You know, there's a core of Christianity that is consistent across all the different expressions. And most of it centers in Jesus and who he is and what he accomplished for us. And then there's a whole host of other things that, while they have great value, they're secondary in that ultimate deal. You know, if we can both go to heaven and disagree on a point, I'll extend a hand of fellowship to you. So we really felt like God called this church into existence to serve Middle Tennessee and to help us strengthen our faith here. Middle Tennessee has such a wonderful heritage of faith for a long time, and I think it's important with all the growth that's come to Middle Tennessee that we keep those values alive and well. So we are busy about that in Rutherford County and beyond.
Oh, I bet. Well, obviously, the news of the day compels me to ask you about what has recently happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I know that you are probably inundated with counsel and consolation and prayer when tragedies like this happen. It's an intersection of politics and worldly life and faith and God, and just help us try to make some sense of understanding if we are able about these types of events, Pastor.
Right. Well, you know, there is no simple answer. I think we can begin with the fact that evil exists.
Amen.
And that from time to time we can't avoid it. It presents itself, and we're left to see these horrific circumstances. And we have to find our way through that. So I think our concern and compassion for the people that are involved directly, for those that have administrative responsibilities around the church and the school and the community, you know, all of those people are certainly at the forefront of our thoughts and our prayers. Some people take these opportunities and rush to a podium to politicize them. I think that is grossly unfortunate. And some even use it to denigrate our faith. And that is really close to evil as well. You know, I think not only should prayer not be banished, as some have suggested, I truly think prayer has the power to change the course of not only lives, but nations. And when we face tragedies, prayer needs to be a part of it. So I think what we can do from a distance is pray. We had an event not exactly alike, but not dissimilar in Nashville not too long ago. And that tragedy was much closer to home, and we all felt the pain of that. So we can walk with great compassion for what they're walking through in Minneapolis these days.
Pastor Alan Jackson with us on the Matt Murphy Show this afternoon, 13 after 4 o'clock. Pastor, in your time as the leader of World Outreach, I guess the way that I'd ask the question is, do you recognize kind of the intersection of faith and the political world? And I'm curious to gain some insight in how that informs you on a regular basis, maybe even a weekly basis, as you prepare your sermons, as you prepare the talks that you have with your congregation? Is that top of mind at all for you?
Well, I might tweak the definitions just a little bit. I believe the church has an assignment to engage culture.
Okay.
And there are a lot of issues that are front and center in our culture right now that are also engaged in the political arena. For instance, marriage, I don't believe is a political issue. I think it's a biblical issue. Human sexuality is a biblical issue before it's a political issue. But I think the church for too long has been reluctant, hesitant, or completely avoided some of those issues. And I think we not only should be engaged, I think we have to be engaged, or we're avoiding our responsibility. Now, there was a bit of a pivot point at COVID when we saw the overreach in that season, in my opinion, and we were forced to try to interpret a lot of things that were coming at us. And so I think we came out of COVID with a little bit different attitude towards responding to culture. But the point of the church, in my opinion, is to shape culture, not be shaped by culture. So I don't make any apology for talking about current events and what's happening and trying to interpret that from a biblical worldview.
I want to explore a little deeper what you just said, because I find it to be profound, that do not allow the church to be shaped by culture, but the church is there to shape culture. Explore that a little further. That's a wonderful sentiment.
Well, if we just use our own national history, I love this country, and I think there's many things to celebrate, and I think there's some chapters for which we are profoundly embarrassed and we've worked to overcome. I mean, slavery is a part of our national history, and I think it's a season where there was a great failure on behalf of the Christian church. I mean, every human being is an image bearer of Almighty God, and to tolerate slavery in our midst has to be understood as a failure on the part of the church. But it's not been our only failure. We've lost 60 million children to abortion. And the sanctity of human life is a fundamental principle of Scripture as well. So we're walking through another season where we've got to grapple with how it is the church is silent in the face of cultural issues that are devastating to the people around us. And it's much easier to retreat into our church buildings and to talk about the culture of the first century. Who were the scribes and who were the Pharisees and who were the Essenes and what was happening in Jerusalem around the time of Jesus' crucifixion. And I've earned some degrees around that. I like the discussion. But ultimately, the perspective of history is to inform our engagement in the present. So I think the church has to have a voice in what's happening. And if that is reflected in the political arena, so be it. But our objective fundamentally is not to sway elections or to choose candidates or parties. I look forward to the time when we return to a season when the major political parties in America all have a biblical worldview. That has been a part of our past, and I think we could return to that if the church can wake up from our slumber or stop worshiping at the altars of comfort and convenience and actually take our place again.
Pastor Alan Jackson is with us for a few more moments. We have a quick timeout to take, Pastor, and we'll come back and we'll talk about this exciting thing that's happening on the weekends on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm excited to be able to speak to this. Our guest is Pastor Alan Jackson. We'll be back in just a moment at 17 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and The Matt Murphy Show. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I want to spend a moment talking to you about the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. What a wonderful organization. What a wonderful group of people. Started over a decade ago by Charlie and his longtime manager, David Corlew. The Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project is it's a simple program with a simple mission to help and support our veterans, our heroes, reintegrate from service to civilian life. I'm proud to tell you that the Patriot Award Dinner is now ready to go. September 11th is the date, and obviously that's a very poignant date, particularly with the passing of a longtime friend of the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project, Bernie Carrick. They're going to honor Bernie at the event at City Winery on September 11th, starting at 5:30. We will be there starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Very excited about that, and we look forward to seeing you. You can find out more on the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project website and find out how you can be a volunteer, that you can donate, you can do the things that help our veterans who have given us so much. And don't forget, at the September 11th event, the Charlie Daniels Patriot Award, they are honoring those survivors from the Benghazi attacks. You know, Charlie always said before his passing that Benghazi isn't going away, and Benghazi ain't going away. And we'll remind you of that tragedy in our nation's history coming up on September 11th at the event at City Winery. Join us there and go online at the CharlieDanielsJourneyHomeProject.org.
FBI's arrested a 22-year-old woman for allegedly threatening to kill Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, and 4th and 8th graders in Tennessee making significant improvements in math and reading. We'll tell you about that at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy, the Matt Murphy Show in progress. It is 4:23. In the midst of a great conversation with Pastor Alan Jackson of World Outreach Church. And a lot of you are asking questions on the Super Text line. If you have any questions for the pastor, please get them in here, and I will relate them to the pastor in just a moment. We'll get some of your questions in here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just discussing the role of the church and how the intersection of faith and politics affects us all. And, you know, Pastor, you brought up the issue of abortion in our previous discussion, and I want to follow up on that. It felt to me in what I do on a daily basis, and you know, we bring our faith to the program, and I don't shy away from my belief system on the show, despite the fact that we're more of a secular broadcast, if you will. But that said, when the Supreme Court thankfully, ruled in Dobbs v. Jackson and brought the issue of abortion back to the states, I felt like many in my listening audience felt like, well, thankfully, finally, after 50 years, the scourge of abortion is finished. And I did my best to delicately remind them, no, it's far from it. And sadly, I see the news. And I see the statistics that we're seeing just as many abortions, certainly in the states that still allow them. We don't see them in Tennessee, but we do see people moving away from Tennessee specifically to get abortion. There's a danger, I guess, in seeing that in the political world and feeling like it is a solved issue when obviously it is something that is ongoing and very much. I don't know if scourge is the right word, but it's the one that comes to mind in terms of what we do here in America in God's view.
Yeah, Matt, you brought up several really important points. I think the whole abortion issue is just a point of shame to us that in a nation with a Christian heritage, our influence is so small, and the abortion numbers really have not significantly diminished since Roe v. Wade was turned back. But that really highlights what we were talking about before the break. This division we have between political and the church, I don't think is helpful. What we have to have is a fundamental heart change. We have a representative form of government. Washington, D.C. is a reflection of the hearts of those of us who live on Main Street in small town America. And that's uncomfortable because a lot of times we chafe at what's happening. But the things we see happening in our nation aren't primarily political problems, they're spiritual problems. We had an open border for so long. Lawlessness has prevailed in our nation. We have sanctuary cities that refuse federal law but demand federal dollars. That's lawlessness. We have shootings in our schools. It's lawlessness. We have murder rates in a nation's capital that were just soaring. And when they're resolved, we can't celebrate that the citizens are safer. Those aren't political issues. Those are spiritual issues. And we need a spiritual renewal in our nation. And then I think we'll see political change that will follow that. So I think it's really important that we understand what the source of the problems are so we get to the root of it and we get to a better future for our children and our grandchildren.
One of our listeners, we designate them oftentimes, Pastor, by the last four digits of their number because we get a text from them. But 0013 wrote in and said, I just heard the pastor say, don't be the thermometer, be the thermostat. That's well said by our listener, I think.
Yeah, they'll hear that again if they listen into my sermons. That's a good idea.
No doubt about it. I want to. I'm just out of curiosity. What do you find to be the hardest part of leading world outreach? What's the hardest part of your job?
It's an interesting question. I think the challenge with church it happens every day. And I think the greatest honors in our life are also the greatest challenges. Parenting, it happens every day. And you can't look at your kids and say, I'm going to take the day off. And when you decide to serve the Lord, that it's not just a job, it's a life assignment.
Right.
And so, I happen to serve in this congregation, but I serve on behalf of the kingdom of God. And I just think it's the regularity of it. There's Sunday's coming and you got to be ready for the weekend, and life happens and people's lives are filled with tragedy and difficulty. And so you face those things, but then you see the triumph of God in the midst of it. So to be honest, it's a joy in my life. I get tired sometimes, but it is a joy to serve the people of God and the purposes of his kingdom.
Well, and the reverse of that is, and you kind of answered the question right at the end there, and I thought I might know the answer to the follow-up question, and that is what gives you the most joy in what you do on a day-to-day basis, and I think you just kind of answered that question, right?
Yeah, without question, it's the people. It's just the remarkable to see the resiliency of human nature and what happens when a life is touched by the power of God and the joy that comes and the new future that gets written. It's not about sitting in church reciting stuff. It's about how we're transformed by the power of God to engage life in our world in a more fruitful way. And I'm fortunate enough to get to see that happen every day.
For those that have not heard you touch on this or speak to it, how do you speak to some of the issues that we seem to be talking about with such regularity nowadays, at least in our world on Super Talk, involving what is known as now the transgender issues or gender dysphoria? if you had told Matt Murphy 20 years ago that we would be having these types of discussions on a regular basis, I would not have believed you. How do you address these issues when and if they come up?
Yeah, well, they do come up, and I think we have to talk about them. You know, my father was a veterinarian. I grew up in Middle Tennessee and a lot of horse barns and such. And I've been fortunate enough to be involved with a lot of animals being born, you know, foals and calves and puppies and kittens and an occasional gerbil and a lot of things. and if the owner's around, the first question that's always asked is, what is it?
Right.
And in all the years I've been involved with that, I've never heard somebody say, well, I'm not sure, or it's confusing. You know, biological sex really is not confusing. And so when a person is confused about that, I have tremendous compassion for them. To be confused about something that is so fundamental to our existence isn't a good thing. So I don't respond to the topic with bitterness or anger or condemnation. I have some compassion there. On the other hand, I don't have much compassion for people who will mutilate our children because it's profitable. You know, if you're not old enough to buy a beer or get a driver's license or enlist in the military, I don't think you should be old enough to submit yourself to modifying your person for the rest of your life. I don't think you have the emotional or maturity yet to be making those choices. So it's not a simple issue because of the culture, but it's not a complex issue because biology is not confusing.
Well, I love the answer, and you're so right. And with all due respect to you and what you do in your life, Pastor, and I say it this way, that to me is not a matter of one's faith. It's a matter of common sense that you don't allow a 14-year-old to make adult decisions. We've set our society up, and thankfully our society has been set up in a biblical way, in a faith-based way, but we set our society up with the understanding that only until you reach an age of maturity should you be able to make certain decisions that might impact your life in the long term. And we seem to have set that common sense aside for manna, I guess, money. I mean, that's the first thing that I come to with regard to why people would do these sorts of things.
Yeah, I think money's a part of it, but I think that's incomplete. I think what really happened is we took our biblical perspective and we set it aside because there were other aspects of that biblical perspective we didn't want. And once you start to white out sections of your Bible and say, you know, that doesn't apply to me, you gain a momentum in the wrong direction. And I think that's where we find ourselves. We've got so much momentum in an ungodly way that now we're living in the midst of the theater of the absurd, where they tell us that, you know, we have Supreme Court justices that can't define a woman, or our southern borders open and millions of people are streaming across, and we have high-level officials saying the border is secure. I mean, it's absurd. And I think that's where there's at least a hint of kind of an awakening back to a move towards common sense. And I think that's exciting.
All right, Pastor, one more quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll talk about a very exciting piece of news that I found out about a couple of days ago with regard to Pastor Alan Jackson and Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Of course, you know Pastor Jackson, watching him or being at World Outreach Church on a weekly basis, and we certainly hope you are. We'll be back in just a moment with some of your questions. If you have anything to ask of Pastor Jackson, now's the time to do it, 615-737-9986. Back right after this.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, a 22-year-old woman under arrest for allegedly threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. The FBI making that arrest today. Court records allege Penelope R. Convertino of Murfreesboro left a voicemail at Blackburn's Nashville office stating, quote, "My name is Mother Effer, and I'm going to kill Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to shoot her with a gun. I'm going to blow up her head on national TV," among other explicit and threatening comments. Convertino charged with threatening to murder a federal official intending to impede, intimidate, or interfere with official duties. If convicted, that carries a sentence of up to 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. Also in Tennessee, 4th and 8th graders are making significant improvement in math and reading, according to the latest national rankings. House Education Subcommittee Chair Scott Sapicki telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show lawmakers turned to phonics education, more training for teachers and staff, summer school. They brought on tutoring and academic screeners to monitor progress and establish discipline in the classroom. All of this after COVID.
We are headed in the right direction very quickly with the things that we've enacted and clearing the way for our teachers to spend more time doing what you and I pay them to do, is teach.
Speaky says since 2009, Tennessee fourth graders went from 38th to 24th in reading, eighth graders from 34th to 21st. And in math, fourth graders went from 45th to 13th, while Tennessee eighth graders went from 42nd to 20th. Money news, Sherry Preston says economic growth was better than first reported in the second quarter.
The Commerce Department reporting the nation's output of goods and services expanded at a 3.3% annual pace from April through June after shrinking 0.5% in the first 3 months of the year. The first quarter drop was mainly caused by a surge in imports before the Trump tariffs took effect. In the second quarter, imports fell by nearly 30%. One thing to note, private business investment fell in the spring months by the largest amount since the pandemic, amid uncertainty about how the trade wars will affect companies' bottom line. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Police reporting a crash 65 northbound at I-440. Another one on 65. This one southbound past at Trinity Lane. Highway Patrol still reporting that crash in Cheatham County, 24 westbound between exit 24 and exit 19. By the way, northbound 65, you're going to be coming to complete stops at times to get to the South Loop downtown. Same can be said for eastbound East Loop downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Affordable, convenient, comprehensive medicine delivered in the old-fashioned way. Now, what do we mean by that? They are a direct pay primary care provider, meaning that all treatment decisions are made between you and your doctor, their medical staff at Grace Point Healthcare. Your insurance company doesn't get a say in how your doctor wants to treat the issues that you come to the facility with. Why is that important? Well, because sadly, insurance companies make decisions that are in the best interest of the insurance company, oftentimes not in the best interest of you, the patient. Grace Point Healthcare does not allow that to happen. It's one of the reasons that I so recommend them, because you can obviously file with your reinsurance company after the fact for reimbursement for the treatments received, and that really is the way that it should be in my estimation. Plus, they have the Smart Care Plan, $69 a month. You get free office visits throughout the course of the year, plus free basic labs and diagnostics with that $69 a month. There's never long wait times at Grace Point Healthcare. They just don't believe in it. They believe in treating you the right way, in a holistic way whenever possible. 599-6868, 599-6868. To schedule your next appointment, they're located in the heart of Franklin. Go see them today or give them a call. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way at Grace Point Healthcare. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us on the Matt Murphy Radio Show here till 7 o'clock, 4 hours per day from 3 until 7, a part of the live and local lineup that includes Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis, Chris Hand, Chad Benson, and yours truly. And speaking of lineups, and by the way, we're speaking with Pastor Alan Jackson of World Outreach Church. Speaking of lineups, I'm just so pleased to learn about a new edition happening on the weekends on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Pastor, I feel like we've buried the lead a little bit, but tell everyone what's to expect on Sunday evenings. I think it's 7 o'clock on the weekends on Super Talk.
It is. We're excited to be a small part of the WTN team. 7 to 8 on Sunday night. It's really a conversation about current events from a biblical worldview. This Sunday night, Allie Beth Stuckey and Eric Eggers are my guests. It's a pretty lively conversation about what's happening in the world and how to understand it. So really just trying to bring a little bit of clarity to what's happening. You know, you mentioned earlier the kind of the division between secular and the faith, and I don't think that's a helpful distinction. You know, I
agree.
I don't become Christian when I walk in the church building and secular when I leave. I've got one life, and so I think we can integrate that whole thing and talk about what's happening in the world. I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
It's going to be a wonderful experience starting, I guess, in just a couple of days. This Sunday, the 30th, 7 to 8 p.m. Sunday nights on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. With your permission, Pastor, so many questions have been pouring in, and I just want to ask questions of the listening audience and get your response to it. Sally has written in, and Sally, you're just touching my heartstrings because Sally seems disillusioned, and she writes, "Where is God? I don't feel like I'm a good Christian. I am a Christian, but I see the children murdered in the womb. I see them sold into sex slavery. I see the rapes and the shootings. I can't wrap my head around it, and it is giving me a crisis of faith." And Sally is asking you to speak to that, Pastor.
Well, I think Sally has a crisis that we all face, and it takes some discipline. You know, there's a lot of evil in the world, and it's not hard to find because it's clickable. But the Bible tells us to focus our attention on the things that are good and pure, and we have to invest a little more effort in finding those things that we can celebrate. There's a lot of good happening around us too. And so my invitation to Sally and everybody else is let's not get hyper-focused on the evil that's around us. Let's get very intentional about finding the places where we can see God doing good things. There are many people who fill our lives that you can see the light of God in, and that'll bring joy to all of us every day.
Pastor, on the other side of it, 6434 writes in and says, I hear the pastor speaking of the spiritual awakening. I've been working with young people in ministry for 40 years, writes the texter. I've seen the highs and lows, and currently I feel like Generation X is seeing a heightening of spirituality. I see conferences with thousands upon thousands of young people pouring their heart to God and Jesus Christ. There is an awakening going on. You spoke to that just briefly, Pastor, but I expect you're seeing the same thing, I hope?
Oh, absolutely we are. You know, I hear a lot of those reports about the young people, and we see something that's most unexpected. We've got a president of the United States who's acknowledging marriages between a man and a woman, who's saying there are only two biological sexes. I mean, those are all faith components to me that may be being delivered from an unlikely source, but they're very much expressions of our faith in the world. God is moving.
Can you ask the pastor if volunteering is still open or closed at the church? And I don't know the nature of that question, but perhaps you do, Pastor.
The church is a volunteer association, so
that's what I thought.
Absolutely, the doors are open.
That's what I thought. You spoke on the immigration issues that have been going on in our country, and obviously the previous president just totally exacerbated the problems by allowing an open border policy. 4326 writes in and says, people in favor of quote-unquote illegal immigration often claim that deportation isn't biblical in its nature or what Jesus taught us to do. How would the pastor or how should they, the writer of this text, respond to that? What do you say about it, Pastor?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I suspect they're referring to some biblical notions around how we treat an alien amongst us. And there are some biblical directions that we treat an alien amongst us, a foreigner amongst us, with compassion and understanding and humanity. But the Bible also is pretty clear that we should not tolerate invasions Invasions have to be repelled. And what we've been witnessing for an extended period of time now is an invasion, multiplied millions of people illegally coming into our country. And I would add to that, I don't think it's compassionate anytime we encourage someone to do something that begins with illegal. I don't encourage people to make illegal withdrawals from the bank. We call that stealing. And I don't think entering the country illegally is a good idea, nor do I think it's compassionate. We have a legal system for immigrating. More than 1 million people a year use that system. So I do think we treat those amongst us as our guests with compassion, but we don't encourage invasions.
Larry writes in and asks your advice, Pastor, on getting rid of nightmares after trauma. And Larry has some very specific issues involving seeing some trauma from a neighbor of his. He was first on the scene and could not save his neighbor, and eventually his neighbor passed away. And that's very sad, Larry. I'm sorry to hear that. Any advice, obvious? Well, I don't want to presume the advice. So, Pastor, what do you think?
Well, I think severe trauma disrupts how our brain, our mind processes events. And typically, the simple, straightforward way is to be able to have a safe place to have that conversation so that that memory, that trauma doesn't get stuck and just keep playing on a loop. So you need a friend, a safe place, a pastor, a counselor, somebody to start to unpack that with a little bit so that it doesn't define how you see reality all the time.
Please ask the pastor how his church in Murfreesboro helps out the local community. It's a fair question, good question.
No, that's an important question. Yeah. Well, we started with the premise that we wanted to find ways to serve the community and not continually be going to the community with our hands out. So we do simple things like we host more Red Cross blood drives, I think, than anybody else in the community. We try to support local law enforcement in a whole variety of ways throughout the year. In those seasons of the year when there's greater demands on food banks, we do food drives and collect tons of food so that there's distribution. Christmas season, we collect thousands and thousands of toys. We don't distribute them personally. We give them to the organizations that do the distribution. So the recipients, we're completely blind to the people that are receiving it, but we try to help the organizations in our community be the heroes. So, I can go on and on. We do things that don't look religious at all. Over the Christmas break, we put up an ice rink and invite the community to come enjoy that at no charge because children are out of school and not all the families can travel, and we try to be a resource. So, not only do we present full menus of camps and children's activities, but we try to support the organizations in our community that are actually doing good in the community.
And finally, one of our texters, 1972, writes in and says, would you ask the pastor, my family watches World Outreach every Sunday morning on YouTube. We live about an hour away. My son leaves for Air Force Academy next summer, and we would love to go to Israel with you. Our whole family would love to go. Are you still doing Israel trips? And if so, where can we find information on them?
Good question. Congratulations on your son in the Air Force Academy. We still do those tours. The tour this year was canceled because our departure date coincided with the U.S. bombing of Iran and the airspace got closed. But our plan is to travel again next summer. It'll be in June, and you can go to the website. All those details should be up there in about another 10 days.
I said that was the last one, but I got one or two more. They stream in, Pastor, and I love this. I think people are very excited about the show Sunday night starting at 7 o'clock, starting this Sunday. Can you ask the pastor how I can make a decision about leaving a job? I have been praying. I don't feel like I'm getting an answer just yet. Would you please ask him if he has any advice?
Well, with no more detail than that, I typically wouldn't suggest you leave a job until you have another one lined up. Otherwise, you're inviting a lot of stress into your life.
That's a great worldly. That does great advice, right? I would encourage you 6282 to continue prayer and make sure you got something lined up before you leave your job. You don't want bills piling up on top of whatever else is going on in the world.
Amen.
We had one person. Can you please repeat the name of his church? And obviously, I want to give you an opportunity to do that and talk about Sunday nights once again before we have to say goodbye, Pastor.
Absolutely. It's World Outreach Church in Murfreesboro, and you go to the website, it's wochurch.org. But we're really excited. This Sunday night, it's a new initiative for us. We get to be a small part of the WTN team. We've got an hour program from 7 to 8. We're going to be talking about current events from a biblical worldview. My guest this Sunday night will be Allie Beth Stuckey and Eric Eggers. They got some hot takes on what's happening in the world. It doesn't have to be confusing. I think we can have God's wisdom and navigate what's unfolding.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us today on Talk Television and on the radio side of things. And thank you for everything that you do for our community, for our state, for our country, and our world. We truly do appreciate you. And it's been a blessing for me to have you on, Pastor.
Well, Matt, it's always a treat. And just for the record, they turned you on my screen, and I agree with your team about the shirt.
Well, you have great discernment, Pastor, and my wife would thank you for that comment because she tells me that it's the worst one in my wardrobe. I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
All right, take care. There's Pastor Alan Jackson, 52 after the hour. Back right after this. The team at Alpha and Omega, man, they're good at what they do. Michael and his team, I tell you this personal story only because it's real, right? I called Michael up and I said, Michael, it's a small issue. I can't figure out this email deal. It's between my laptop and my desktop and the company that I work for and my own personal email and my own personal server. And I don't know what's going on. Michael said, Murphy, calm down. This is not your radio show. Secondarily, Michael said, let's get the team on it. And Eric and Michael called me the next morning, and we went over it, and problem solved. I knew that they were the experts in all this. We did it by the phone, right? So consider that's a micro-level easement of my issues with my computers. Now think on the macro level. If you own a business, and obviously you've got a computer system in your business. Obviously you've got IT going on, right? Obviously you've got servers. You're on the web. You've got cybersecurity, possible breaches of cybersecurity all the time. You've got computers that perhaps are going down or not interfacing properly. You've got printer issues. You've got networking issues. What do? Well, you're wasting valuable time and money by dealing with that yourself. Get Michael and Alpha and Omega on the team. If you're a business owner, there are 14 successful ransomware attacks every single day. Every day. Call Alpha and Omega so you will not become one of the 14. Alpha and Omega delivers fewer problems, faster response, and service that actually works. Call now for a free quote. Alpha and Omega online at aando.net, aando.net, or 615-784-0096, 784-0096 for Alpha and Omega.
The FBI arresting a Murfreesboro woman for threats against Senator Marsha Blackburn. Good news to report out of Minneapolis in all of the sadness there. College campuses around the country have been dealing with active shooter hoaxes, and now it looks like there is a group tied to it. We'll tell you about that more coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
There's Ken Weaver in News Closet B, a.k.a. the Super Talk 99.7 WTN News Center. Jackson Williams behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Let me tell you something. When you go out to your various parks, your locations where there's water, and you see the beautiful swans or the ducks, and they're just gliding across the top of the pond, they look like they're so at ease. Do you understand what's going on beneath the surface of the water? That's Jackson. That's you, Jackson.
Brother Jackson bringing it all together.
Bringing it all together. Just paddling with his little flippers as fast as his little flipper feet will take him, making sure that this radio show stays afloat and looks as easy as Sunday morning. Thank you, Jackson.
Hey, bud.
Hey, how's it going? Somebody accused me of being mean to you earlier.
I'm sure you were.
So
was I listening? Probably not.
I'm trying to give you a little sugar before the salt. That salt's coming in nincompoops in the news. Tell you that.
Who won yesterday?
I did.
That's probably Ken. I think Ken did win yesterday, actually.
I don't want anybody getting my nincompoops today, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Ken, where's yours from?
I'm not saying.
Well, if you get to go first, what does it matter?
Well, do I?
Sure. Yeah, you won. No. I stopped counting because you got so many Ken Weaver.
Well, I'll let you boys know whenever we start.
How many times do I have to read? I just love the way Ken delivers those nincompoops. Yeah. It's the meat of the story that matters.
Well, it should be anyway.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock. If you love the mellifluous tones of Ken Weaver, you better buckle up because you're getting about 2 or 3, 4 minutes of it right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time for the news.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, the FBI moving in and arresting a 22-year-old woman for allegedly threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. Court records indicate Penelope R. Convertino of Murfreesboro left a voicemail at Blackburn's Nashville office stating that, quote, "My name is Mother Effer, and I'm going to kill Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to shoot her with a gun. I'm going to blow up her head on national TV," among other explicit things. She's charged with threatening to murder a federal official intending to impede, intimidate, and interfere with official duties. And if convicted, this lady could receive a maximum sentence of 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. There is good news to report out of Minneapolis among all the sadness.
Officials have said that they expect everyone who was injured to make a full recovery, so some good news there, but no doubt about it that this has taken a toll on the first responders, on the workers who were in the hospital, between the doctors and the nurses and the rest of the staff.
Meanwhile, the FBI investigating this as a hate crime, combing through the shooter's background and a video. And there is this. College campuses around the country have been dealing with active shooter hoaxes. Investigators believe a swatting group called Purgatory is behind these calls that resulted in lockdowns and panic.
This group, Purgatory, has been linked to a bigger online violent extremist group, so there is some concern there. And the leader of the group told Wired magazine that he's basically out for money for anywhere from $20 to $50 a pop. He'll have members of Purgatory make these hoax calls about an active shooter, and we've seen them in no fewer than a dozen college campuses, sometimes more than one per campus.
Yeah, a couple of those, UT Knoxville, also UTC Chattanooga. That's ABC News, Aaron Katursky. It's been a chaotic 24 hours at the CDC.
In a show of solidarity, a worker walkout at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. At the center of the controversy, a battle between the head of the CDC, Susan Menares, and HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Menares' lawyers say she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. Menares has been the head of the CDC for less than a month after being appointed by President Trump. At least 4 top health officials at the CDC now stepping down.
That's Perry Russum reporting from Washington. And the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Rivergate, police say there's a crash 65 northbound right before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. In Antioch, we've got a crash Bell Road and Hickory Park. On the North Loop, police reporting a crash 65 southbound at the 2465 exit 86A and B. And it is stop and go. A lot more stop than go right now. Eastbound 440 between 65 and 24. Eastbound South Loop to 65. Northbound 65 to the South Loop. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. We're halfway home this Thursday edition, August 28. It is episode, let's see, I like to tell you 5 o'clock listeners every once in a while. It's episode 874 of our gatherings together. By the way, I failed to mention it in the first hour of the show because I was out of it. I was coming in here hot on 2 wheels. I was barely making it to work on time, but I got here. And now that I'm settled in, I need to settle some old scores and do some things that I failed to do in the first hour. By the way, my name is Matt Murphy. Matt Murphy Show. Platforms available, radio, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, our own app. Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. You can see the new non-broken TV that looks broken. That computer glitch keeps coming up. I'm not knocking anybody. I know they'll fix it, but you know what I'm talking about? Can you tell it in the on the Talk TV side there, Jackson?
You can't really see it.
Yeah. But that thing keeps messing with me because it goes a little white every once in a while, and it bounces off that glass, and it freaks me out. And I think that I feel like I'm moving toward the light. I think I'm dying is what happens. Oh, look, there's the light. Go toward the light, Carol Ann. Go toward the light. That's a dated reference lost on young Jackson. Fraction Jackson.
Tennessee just flipped a 5-star in other news.
Oh, really? Did they now?
Tristan Keys going to the Vols.
So excited.
Where's he from?
He is. He was going to LSU, Ken.
LS Poo.
I almost said a curse word.
LS Poo. Or, alternatively, LSPU. Bunch of...
Ooh, you're making him mad, Brother Murphy.
Ken, while I have my sports 60 seconds here, you a Cowboys fan?
Hey, whoa. You got to hit the thing. You can't, the clock doesn't start till you, if you're going to do a Jackson Williams sports update on Super Talk, you got to let the folks know that it's coming so the clock gets going. What do you got over there, Jackson?
Ken, are you a Cowboys fan?
I am.
Oh, might want to plug your ears for this one.
Ken, have you heard this?
No.
Oh, my God. Oh.
The Cowboys have traded all-pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark.
That sounds like something Jerry Jones would do.
That sounds like a Cowboys fan.
Ken, how do you feel about this news?
You know what? I really don't care that much. I am a Cowboys fan. I was a much bigger fan back whenever I lived, in Texas. But now by proxy, I have become a Titans fan. The Titans are my number one team. I was actually a Houston Oilers fan back in my Texas days.
Oh, there you go. That's old school.
So it's come full circle.
So the Cowboys and Packers play week 4. So Micah gets to play his old team.
So Micah Parsons is widely now you tell me. I asked this in the form of a question. But he is, am I correct, widely considered to be the best defensive player in the game today?
Yes, that would be. And he signed a contract about paying him about $46 million a year.
$46 million a year?
Yes.
What?
Signed that Matt Murphy contract.
What?
Boy,
what? No, come on. $46 million a year?
He's worth every penny.
What do you mean he's worth every penny?
He is worth every single penny.
And they're pricing us out of the stadiums.
He's like 25 years old, and he's already a 20-sack-a-year guy.
Why the hell wouldn't old Richie Richardson, Jerry Jones over there pay him that kind of money?
Probably because he back-talked by saying, "Hi, Mr. Jones."
Don't you backsass me, boy.
I don't like that, boy.
Man, oh, man. I used to be I realized something just a moment ago when you said that, Ken. I think my fan affiliation has come full circle, too.
Yeah?
Because, I grew up in Georgia, and sadly, when you grow up in Georgia, you're a Falcons fan.
You got the Falcons.
Ugh, gross. But in college, I became a huge fan of Tecmo Super Bowl, which was a little video game that used to play on the Nintendo 64. Mm-hmm. We would spend all weekend long inside of apartment buildings all over Carrollton, Georgia, drunk as Cooter Brown, playing Tecmo Super Bowl. And what you would do is that you would pick a team, and that'd be like 4 of us, and we'd each pick a team randomly, and then you play your games with your team. So sometimes you don't play for an hour and a half. You're just sitting around watching other people play and, whatever.
Right.
At the end of that, I remember one particular football season where my buddy Caleb Boyd was playing. He was the Miami Dolphins, and he was playing against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. He had dispatched of the human beings, and then we were playing the computer. Well, we could always beat the computer, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles had the guy was named QB Eagles because they couldn't get Randall Cunningham to sign his name to the game.
Really?
They had real names on the game, but he wouldn't do it.
Right.
I guess he wanted too much money. And QB Eagles ran roughshod over Caleb Boyd, and we were not accustomed to being beaten by the computer. And Caleb felt like it was an unfair event that was unfolding. And at the end of the fourth quarter, when QB Eagles ran this quarterback draw that he then dispatched of 2 linebackers and scored a touchdown, I'm not making this up. Caleb threw my television through the window.
Goodness.
Got very upset. And immediately after he did it, he turned around and said, "That was worth it. I'm buying you a new TV." It's like, okay. You're also buying me a new Nintendo because my Nintendo got ripped out of the wall, too.
Yeah.
But whatever. But
That
anyway,
was back when you could get a Nintendo for a quarter, right?
oh, my goodness gracious. No doubt.
Gas was a penny? Hey, or a hay penny.
You ever play
I've played Tecmo Bowl, and it is really fun. Me and my friends played in college, and I knew about Bo Jackson, and they didn't.
Oh, well, then that's
so
on
I picked the Raiders, and I had a lot of fun that night.
Bo Jackson, unstoppable.
Bo Jackson was, man.
In real life and in Tecmo Super Bowl, unstoppable.
Yeah.
I think greatest athlete. You can make a case that Bo Jackson was the greatest athlete ever.
He's one of them.
I mean,
Definitely.
Dion.
I mean,
Dion did what Bo did, but better.
See,
because Bo got hurt.
I mean, while we're on the Action Jackson Sports Minute, that's now
4 minutes.
Just keep
in.
going. Don't say it.
Herschel Walker, I would consider Herschel Walker the best college running back of all time.
Whew, couldn't stop him.
But I would say that Bo Jackson is the greatest college athlete of all time.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Just a slight
He's a little more
distinction.
shifty. Herschel would just run right through you.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And then just keep on going.
If y'all, and I know my Georgia Bulldog affiliation comes out when I say this. I'm a little bit biased, but if y'all have never seen, if you want to know what made Herschel Walker different, watch the documentary. I think it was a 30 for 30 documentary or maybe an SEC story documentary about Herschel Walker. Herschel had a lot of problems, mental issues in his life, in his early life. And he admits now, he said, I was either going to play football or I was going to join the military so I could kill people.
Goodness.
I mean, he had some deep-seated issues. And he said he decided to play football. And he said, when I got the football, I was attacking the football field to exercise my demons.
I believe it.
And boy, my God, a freshman.
By the way, I got to give the Vols their due credit here, and my very favorite Sooner, one of my favorite Sooners of all time, Josh Heupel. This Tristan Keys, he was the number 1 wide receiver for the 2026 class, and he plucked him right out of Baton Rouge.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Good for Josh.
Does this mean LSU's out of money?
LSPU. Yeah, probably.
Well, they're paying that coach entirely too much.
Well, they got to buy all that bourbon. So
watch it.
Anyway, the point is I feel like I went full circle because when I played Tecmo Super Bowl, I loved playing the Houston Oilers. Yeah. Warren Moon was the passer.
Warren Moon.
Man.
See, I was the Kenny Stabler days. Kenny Stabler, and even though he was a Longhorn, I love him. Earl Campbell.
Boy, Kenny.
Earl freaking Campbell.
My goodness Christ. Kenny Stabler and Earl Campbell were on the same football team?
Yes, sir. Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Oh, I remember White Shoes when he came over to the Falcons.
Yes, sir.
You know why they called him Billy White Shoes Johnson there, Jackson?
Because he wore white shoes.
Bingo! You're not the best producer in the business for nothing, buddy. That's exactly right, because he wore white shoes. And
Oilers legend.
And Atlanta got him when he was slow and feeble. Atlanta decided to scoop him up when he was 48 years old. Sign him to a couple-of-year contract. Throw some money at him. Relive the glory days. And
how do you do with the Falcons?
Like every other Falcon did in the 1980s. Not well.
Y'all got Dion eventually. That was the 90s.
Yeah, that didn't go very well either. Jerry Glanville. Good Lord. Leaving Elvis tickets to the game. Come on, man. He did do that. He left Elvis Presley 2 tickets to every home football game at the Falcons.
Wasn't he dead by that point?
Yeah, Elvis was long dead. But Jerry was of the belief that if Elvis was alive, he would want to go see a crappy football team like the Atlanta Falcons, I guess.
The king was up here solving crimes.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Speaking of crimes, we're going to get back into this very serious subject of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have to give Elian Omar credit. After we take Mike's telephone call and we take a short break, I'm going to play you a clip, and I am going to give credit where due to Representative Elian Omar. That's coming up in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I got a lot of people randomly throwing out the names of football players on the Super Text line for no reason whatsoever. You want me to read it to you? Well, let me read it to you real quick. You ready? Chris Chandler,
yes.
Laughy face. Yeah, that's a laughy face.
Wasn't that the coach from Friday Night Lights?
No, that was the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons for a while. He was a part of the Tecmo Bowl at some point. Ugh. Marcus Dupree, Larry Zonka, John Riggins, Hines Ward.
Oh, Tim Riggins was on Friday Night Lights.
Walter Payton, Bo Jackson.
And Marcus Dupree. Oh, Marcus.
We got so good. Y'all probably do a similar thing. We got so good at Tecmo Super Bowl that we would pick teams out of a hat. But the rule was you had to play the backup quarterback unless the backup quarterback got hurt. And then you could put in your regular quarterback. So we would do that. And I'm playing the team actively hoping that my quarterback gets destroyed so I can put in like Dan Marino.
Yeah, you're just running quarterback draws left and right.
Exactly.
That was back when the ambulance would come get the player.
Oh, yeah. They would come out on the field. And it'd be on a little stretcher.
Slightly sadistic. But
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right. Larry. No, not Larry. Mike in Old Hickory. Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Mike, I'm fabulous. I hope you are.
You know, I'm not, because I'm sitting watching this Lisa Cook thing. She's a Fed governor that sits on the board of the Federal Reserve, who's got caught in mortgage fraud, and now she's suing Donald Trump personally. First time this has ever happened in the history of our country, where a Fed governor sits down and sues the sitting president. And she won't deny what she did, so now her attack is sue Trump. And so, therefore, the Federal Reserve is corrupt. Jay Powell now and the board now are saying they're going to support her 100%. And therefore, Matt, we got a country now out of control. Thank God Donald Trump is in control of the presidency, but the Federal Reserve, which sets interest rates, if she gets away with this, all you people out there listening, your interest rates, your credit card, your mortgage, and your cars and all that, she sits there as a crook, and they've got her because she's criminally charged, and then she sues Trump. This is why we need to clean up government, clean out the mess, and the Federal Reserve now is now being proven that they won't even put her on a suspended sentence till this is done. They're going to leave her sitting on the board, and therefore she can then vote on what you pay in interest rates next year.
You know, I'm beginning to wonder why in the hell the Federal Reserve exists. Don't you, Mike?
The Federal Reserve is a so-called independent body, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to keep interest rates at a level where, you know, we can
why can't we do that through the Department of the Treasury?
We can do that. But the Federal Reserve now has become so politicized, and the Lisa Cook thing now has made it that way. And Jay Powell, who is now surrounding the wagons around her, is making the Federal Reserve again. You know, I never believed in Rand Paul. I never liked, Rand Paul much. But you know what? Rand Paul's looking pretty good now. The Federal Reserve is a crooked organization.
Yeah, and we need to audit the Fed. I mean, there's no question you need to audit the Federal Reserve, and I would suggest that I need someone to explain to me a compelling reason. Maybe I should get Paul Winkler on here. I bet he could give me a reasonable explanation as to why we need the Federal Reserve. I mean, why we can't operate exterior to the Federal Reserve and whatever official governmental duties that they are responsible for, just absorb that into the Department of the Treasury and be done with it. Before I let you go, Mike, a listener has a question for you, okay?
Sure.
The listener says, this is 2489. Matt, ask this guy who his favorite college football player was.
Probably the Dallas quarterback. I think his name was 1968, 1970. Dallas
Roger Staubach.
Yeah, Roger Staubach.
Wow.
Exactly. This guy was a decent guy, served in the Navy 5 years, and he was a great college quarterback. And then he left football to go into the Navy for 5 years, and then had a stellar career with the Dallas Cowboys. And he became a decent man and a great business owner. I think
Mike, that's such a disappointment because that's such a good answer. I'm so disappointed. Mike, thank you for the call.
That's way to go, brother Mike.
Way to go, Mike. Yeah, Roger Staubach. He was a good quarterback. A good person, too, by all accounts and information. I had a chance to interview Bart Starr one time years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, man, it was very cool. So cool. Speaking of old school quarterbacks.
Yeah, those old school dudes, man.
They took a beating.
Yes.
A beating. There was no namby-pamby flags back then, man. Those linebackers would come and just pop that elbow up and boom.
You remember there's a scene, there is a snippet from a game where I think it's either Jack Lambert or Jack Ham, mean linebackers, and one of them is grimacing, and he has lost his front teeth, and blood is running down his chin.
I think it's Lambert, isn't it? Where there's one of them. Where, it might be from his teeth. And he's like from his forehead. Yeah. It's just like running down his face, and that's football.
Yes,
right there. 25 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Located their original location right here in Middle Tennessee's in Midtown. Number two, they opened up the new location in Cool Springs a couple of years ago, and that's been going like gangbusters. Busy for those of you south of the city that want quality men-centric health care from qualified urologists. And now I am pleased to tell you about the Clarksville location. That's right. For those of you up north, Clarksville is now open. No matter where you are in Middle Tennessee, expert care is close by. And stand by for new announcements about another clinic opening in Middle Tennessee that I'm very excited to tell you about. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work. Too many guys just whistle past the graveyard pretending that this issue will go away. Too many guys do not deal with their mild to moderate ED. I'm just going to put it down there where the goats can graze on it, man. It is time to make the call, and let's get this behind us and back into the game. The way you do that, a qualified urology-based appointment with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They are staffed with licensed professionals who specialize in men's health. Call them today at 615-208-9090, 208-9090. Your initial appointment is only $99. You get a full medical consultation, blood work, medically advised, a test dosed right there in the office on the first meeting. Book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, a woman is under arrest for allegedly threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. Court records indicate 22-year-old Penelope R. Convertino of Murfreesboro left a voicemail at Blackburn's Nashville office stating, quote, "My name is Mother Effer, and I'm going to kill Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to shoot her with a gun. I'm going to blow her head up on national TV," among other explicit and threatening comments. Convertino charged with threatening to murder a federal official, intending to impede, intimidate, and interfere with official duties that carries a 10-year federal prison sentence and $250,000 fine if convicted. Investigators in Minneapolis combing through hundreds of pieces of evidence connected with the suspect in the deadly mass shooting yesterday. Here's Police Chief Brian O'Hara at today's briefing.
This is an individual who, unfortunately, like so many other mass shooters that we have seen in this country too often and around the world, had some deranged fascination with previous mass shootings.
Good news today. Amidst all the sadness, hospital officials say those 9 victims, including 7 children still being treated, are going to make full recoveries. Elsewhere in Tennessee, Channel 4 has a story of a Robertson County man who says he found a bullet in his home. Albert Burton says in his part of Robertson County, he's used to hearing gunshots from people hunting deer, turkey, or target practice. He says he gets concerned they'll miss their target, and sure enough, he says while working in the garden, he noticed a hole in his home and there was a bullet.
And luckily, this side of the house, if it got a little more, the window, we usually sit here in the den and watch TV, or again, it could be embedded in the wall any place. I would have never noticed it if it hadn't come out here.
He just hopes this incident encourages neighbors to be more mindful of where they're shooting. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Rivergate, police say there's a crash 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Metro Center, a crash partially blocking the on-ramp 65 southbound from Rosa Parks Boulevard. And in South Nashville, police say there's a wreck 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. In Donaldson, got a crash reported Lebanon Pike, just west of Donaldson Pike. And on the North Loop downtown, police say there's a crash 65 southbound at 2465 exit 86A. I'm Ken Weaver.
Want to know about a place where European auto repair doesn't feel like European auto repair? Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I am here to tell you about that moment when you walk into Eurofix. You'll notice Eurofix is not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms, they're clean, comfortable, inviting. Service areas, spotless. Why? Why do they spend the time to make sure that this is the case? Because Eurofix cares about everything, from how you're treated to how your vehicle's treated to how their waiting area is treated to how their service area looks. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs. Eurofix performs, and at below dealer prices, I might add. You don't have to put up with dealer pricing or get ghosted when you're waiting on a callback. Eurofix fixes everything European, plus a rental car available with every appointment. They have locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. Call 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or visit online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. And be sure to tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to Aaron Stokes and Eurofix. Hey, there's a chat going on. I mean, if you want to get involved, the chat room on YouTube is absolutely insane. But I was viewing it during the commercial advertisement timeout, and a question came up, and I'm curious about this. Is it if I have a lot of law enforcement that listen to the radio show, and I appreciate every single one of you. Is it are U-turns legal? Well, someone was on the chat saying that they were told by someone in law enforcement that U-turns were illegal. It's my understanding that U-turns aren't illegal unless they're posted. That's why they post them. No U-turns. Otherwise, why would you post them? Because otherwise, they'd always be if they're always illegal. I don't know. Just curious. Hit me up on the super text line, 615-737-9986 if you have an answer. I promised this, and I'll get to it. I could include her as the nincompoop in the news. We're going to talk about this in the 6 o'clock hour after nincompoops in the news. But I want to share it with those of you that perhaps want to hear the clip and are about to get out of your car. I try to do that because I do these teases, and then I never pay off the teases. And then people call Jackson, and they're yelling at him. They're like, why don't you pay off the teases? And then they call Ken Weaver in the newsroom, and Ken says, I just do the news. And it just causes problems. But here's the clip. Someone told me that I'm mispronouncing her first name. Ilhan Omar, to which I say, I certainly hope so.
I mean, that is a question that we've asked ourselves when Columbine happened back when I was in high school. We've asked ourselves that question when we saw little babies being slaughtered in Sandy Hook. We continue to ask ourselves that question. What I can tell you is that we collectively have a solution. We know that when we allow as a country for guns to be accessible to people in the easy way that it is in the United States, we continue to have these kind of tragedies when we do not collect.
You hear what she said there? I'm gonna rewind it. So just to make sure you hear.
For guns to be accessible to people in the easy way that it is in the United States, we continue to have these kind of tragedies when we do not collectively as a community in the United States address mental health illness, when we don't see these children and communities that are impacted and,
you know, it's the Democrats more than anyone that prevent us from addressing mental health illness because sadly, they won't even call mental health illness. Is gender dysphoria a mental illness or not? Is gender dysphoria mental illness or not? I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I have great compassion for those who find themselves in the throes of this type of thing if it's legitimate. I feel like most often it's not. It's a desire for attention, or it's mental illness manifesting itself in this way, but different than gender dysphoria. But the political left, you heard Scott Zapicki earlier today, the political left doesn't even want to call mental illness anymore. But by your definition, not mine, by your definition, it's mental illness. You're telling me if you say you're gender dysphoric or you're transgender, correct me if I'm wrong, you're telling me that you were born in the wrong body, that your mind and your body do not line up. How is that not mental illness? You're telling me something's wrong in your mind regarding your body. How is that not? But now, Sabicki said you couldn't even say that in testimony in the General Assembly in the state of Tennessee. Why not? I'll get to the other piece, the reason that I played the clip for you to begin with, coming up after the top of the hour news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You'll want to stay tuned for that. It is 41 after the hour. Friends, neighbors, countrymen. It's the segment you all wait for. You sit in your cars for it. You park in your driveways for it. You prematurely hit the sounder for it. It's time for Nincompoops in the News. Super Talk 99.7 WTN! The stars of the show are truly Ken Weaver, newsman extraordinaire, who's the big winner from yesterday. Hello, Mr. Weaver.
How about you boys?
Doing well. And then there's Fraction Jackson, a.k.a. Y2J. So called because he was born December 31st on a cold, blistery December 31st, 1999.
30th. Close
on
though.
a cold and blistery December 30th on 1989. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story there, Jackson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
I'm just Jim Dandy. And by the way, y'all can be as nasty as you want to be about my shirt. I love my shirt. My shirt says Matt's about to have a birthday. My shirt says Matt's about to be out of town. My shirt says Matt is
wearing an ugly shirt.
Ken, why don't you just go ahead and do your nincompoop?
All right, boys. This comes from News 2 right here in Nashville. Happened, I think, a couple of days ago. Serial panhandler runs from officers across I-24. A man arrested more than 100 times for panhandling was arrested Wednesday for evading arrest by running across I-24. It happened on Saturday, August 23rd, at the I-24 off-ramp to Old Hickory Boulevard near the Rutherford County line. They didn't catch up to him until Wednesday. So responding officers noted the man, or rather, they responded to a call to 911 about a man flagging down motorists and telling them his wife was having a medical episode parked on the side of the interstate. So responding officers noted the man was likely 58-year-old Paul Anil, who has been arrested in Nashville for panhandling in this manner more than 100 times. When officers approached Anil, he took off running onto the interstate, crossing both west and eastbound lanes, which caused multiple motorists to swerve and slam on their brakes. Anil then tried to open the door of one of the vehicles that had stopped. But fortunately, that door was locked and that driver sped away. Eventually, Anil was taken into custody in the median of the interstate and booked into the Metro Jail, charged with disorderly conduct, evading arrest, reckless endangerment, and failure to appear. He remains jailed on a $28,000 bond. Let me tell you, 24 is bad enough. You don't need panhandlers running across the interstate to try to get away from police.
I have a couple of thoughts on this nincompoop story.
Yes.
Number one, I think I met this guy at Edley's this morning just outside of the Dan Mandis remote. I think
that was him?
I think that he was the guy that was asleep after eating a couple of tacos. I'm pretty sure. Number two, I don't experience 24 very often, but I have experienced it over the last couple of weeks, or the last week more specifically, as I've been taking my vehicle in to my great displeasure to a particular location over in Antioch.
Yes, sir.
And the way that you come to work after that is you get on 24.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It is as awful as advertised.
Ooh, it's fun.
What's infuriating, and I kind of get it, y'all. I get it. I'm going to run somebody over. I'm not really, but you know what I'm saying. Is that it's all stacked up and packed up, and you're like, well, there must be something wrong. At least at some point, I'll get some resolution in my life as to why I've been sitting in traffic for the last 10 minutes. And guess what? Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No.
You just...
Well, it might be, a ladder is dangling off some construction worker's van, or
the door of a refrigerator.
Yeah, it's open.
Or, in this case, some dude just walking off across the interstate.
Yeah, or a dump truck is, shedding gravel from the top.
Oh, look, they're dumping their load right here on the interstate. Isn't that nice?
It's a bump and just boom.
It's a melee.
It's raining rocks.
It's like a YouTube chat room for Super Talk 99.7 WJ. It's a melee.
Yeah.
It's a melee.
Nothing against those working men and women, though.
No, we love you.
They got to get on 24, too.
God bless you. We love you, and thank you for keeping the economy going.
Nope, stay off the interstate.
I'm going next to Jackson. You know why?
Why?
Because I want to.
Okay.
Florida, and I'm a little worried that you might steal the story. A Florida man is behind bars for alleged... Oh, by the way, I do have to do and we should probably remind ourselves to do this. I would like to initiate a little pitchers alert. Can I get a horn there? Can I get a little trumpet? A little pitchers alert. That's it. That's fine. I like that one. Do that one again. Do yours again. Little pitchers alert. So if you got little pitchers in the car, just understand that I'm going to try to clean it up as much as I can. A Florida man is behind bars for allegedly headbutting his girlfriend after she became upset when he began watching a pornographic video.
I saw this one.
While they were having intercourse.
Oh, night.
This went from a good night to really badly very quickly. And I just don't understand how it gets that way. According to court records, Donald Naples, 44, and the victim were engaged in consensual sexual intercourse when Naples simultaneously began engaging in some adult entertainment. The 3 a.m. film session, however, did not sit well with the 50-year-old partner/victim. The woman, according to the report, quote, became upset by the defendant's actions and told him to stop. According to police, she also directed Naples.
Please don't get us fired here. I've read that full story. It's a tough one to do.
I'm quoting.
I respect you.
I'm quoting from the police report, okay? When the 50-year-old woman told Naples, finish it yourself.
Were they splitting a sandwich?
Let's go with that.
Goodness.
During the argument that followed, Naples allegedly headbutted the victim in the nose, causing significant bleeding, much like that Jack Lambert fella for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
The woman was transported to the local hospital and treated for her injuries. The couple's, investigators reported, have been in a romantic relationship for approximately 6 months. After being read his rights, Naples declined to provide police with a statement. Since he had a previous battery conviction on his record, the charge against Naples was enhanced to a felony count, locked up in lieu of $10,000 bond. He's been ordered to have no contact with the victim. Naples was arrested last year for meth possession. Imagine that. He eventually pleaded to a reduced paraphernalia charge. So there you go. Just, y'all, it's always good to have good verbal, oral communication prior to advancing to the next stage of your relationship. Wouldn't you say? I mean, I feel like you need to set some boundaries, some ground rules. Here's a good tip from Murphy to all of you. Have a safe word. Have a safe word. Examples: pancakes. Pancakes.
Football.
I just had a mental.
I don't want to describe it, but I had the same one. It's like fading out into the background.
Oh, Fraction Jackson, you're an nincompoop.
I have to follow that?
Yeah, you do.
All right. Football. Stop it, Murphy. All right. Florida man in Batman pajamas stops burglary suspect. Not all heroes wear capes, some in their PJs. In one instance, a Florida man wearing Batman pajamas helped stop a burglary suspect in his neighborhood. According to the Cape Coral Police Department, early Wednesday, it responded to a burglary in progress at a home. When officers arrived, they found the suspect, Justin Schimple, 20 years old, already detained by a neighbor in Batman pajamas. The neighbor was identified as Kyle Myvitt. Myvitt told detectives that he had gone to bed when his home security cameras alerted someone to breaking into his vehicle. He went outside to investigate and saw Schimple going through his truck. Moments later, Schimple was seen in his neighbor's garage. Myvitt detained Schimple until officers arrived. Police say he stole 2 pairs of Ray-Ban sunglasses valued at $300 each, a woman's wristlet, more than $500 in gift cards. You hate looking up and you just see the Caped Crusader.
What do you think Batman wears underneath the suit?
Bat pants.
I mean, seriously. I mean, what's underneath? Is there nothing? He doesn't have anything.
Oh no, Ken, that suit's metal in a lot of those movies. He's wearing something.
No, he's Batman. He's tough.
I mean,
he can handle it.
Batman is not immune from chafing. He doesn't have any superpowers.
You got to train the groinal area.
Yeah, there's
Jackson.
That's Chafe City, bud.
I imagine. I'm telling you, don't put on some of that Blue Star ointment like my grandpa told me to do.
Next Batman's going to be endorsed by Gold Bond.
Which was the Batman movie where they had the nipples? Remember that?
That was George Clooney's Batman.
Congratulations.
He did 2 movies. They were both horrific.
And they both had the nipples?
Yes.
One of them had Robin. Robin had the nipples too, right?
Yes. Both of them had Robin. Chris O'Donnell. He is in the 911 Nashville show that's coming out this year.
Oh, I'm very excited. Very excited about that show. You know what I hear that show is going to have in it?
Tornado.
A fire tornado.
Oh, God.
A fire-nado.
That's
really.
I have an inside scoop as to how they put that together and how it comes together with a concert gone wrong, and there's a concert fire at the concert, and then am I ruining something for somebody? You know, I should probably share.
Is it, Garth Brooks singing the
Can we get an
Thunder
early
Rolls?
screening of the episode?
Maybe.
I'm very interested in this show.
Do you watch the other 911?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're into that, then you'll be into this.
I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a fire, and then a tornado
Okay,
comes.
let's not get into spoilers.
And then, well, I mean, there's going to be emergencies, Jackson. It's called
911.
Is it Nashville 911 or 911?
911 Nashville. So they did 911, which is based in Los Angeles. 911 Lone Star was based in Texas.
Okay.
And now we're having 911 Nashville based in Nashville.
We'll get naders. What else will we get? I mean,
fires. A lot of people doing, like, I think you're going to see a Bachelorette gone wrong in the first episode.
100%.
Which will be really funny.
100%. A lot of Broadway crap.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be like the old party barge tipped over and you got to go save some people.
We got a guy with a banjo up his pooper. Yeah, that kind of crap.
And everybody's going to be talking like this and wearing boots with shorts.
That's how 911 Lone Star is. It's pretty good.
No, I hate the way they do Southern accents when they're not from the South. Hopefully they get it right.
What they will do to avoid some of that, they will have a character not from Nashville move to Nashville. Like the main guy.
Go.
Like Rob Lowe was from New York in Lone Star.
Okay, well I hope that's Chris O'Donnell. I hope I don't have to watch Chris O'Donnell try to do a Southern accent. Hey, y'all. Oh, no.
Y'all?
Just throw Reba in there. It'll be fine. 54 after the hour. That's how we play. That's how we do it. That's Nincompoops in the News. For those of you asking, because we get these questions often, that theme song for Nincompoops in the News, the reason that sounds so familiar, because you love Nincompoops in the News and you listen every day. By the way, somebody told me they were literally sitting in their driveway waiting for Nincompoops to be done. Vote early, vote often. Ken Weaver, Matt Murphy, or Fraction Jackson. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk. We've got a mixture going on in the Super Text line of voting for Nincompoops, comments about my shirt, which the best insult of my shirt is going to win some sort of award later on.
Oh, I'll get to work on that.
I will figure something out for the best insult for my shirt. Just tune in on Super Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or Rumble. Make the nastiest comment that you can come up with on the Super Text line, and you're gonna win something. I don't know what. I'll raid the prize closet. Anyway, Efficient Heating and Cooling. Let's talk about Jeff Eddy for a moment. Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they do what they can to make sure that you get the maximum life out of your AC unit. Let's discuss, okay? So when you buy an AC unit, it's a lot of money. It's thousands of dollars to put in an AC unit in most homes. And when you buy Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they want that unit to last as long as possible. And so with that in mind, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that you, do your maintenance every year. That's crucial. It's a small cost for the length of the time that you gain as a result. And number two, they're not going to replace that unit unless it's absolutely necessary. Some guys do it just because they make more money that way. They don't do it at Jeff Eddy's Efficient Heating and Cooling. He believes in long-term relationships with his customers, and he's going to get maximum life out of that AC or heater, for example. EfficientHVAC.net is the website, EfficientHVAC.net. They don't charge you overtime on nights or weekends. They just don't believe in it. 615-784-4424, 784-4424, Efficient Heating and Cooling.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, a Murfreesboro woman arrested by the FBI, charged with threatening to kill Senator Marsha Blackburn. Court records indicate 22-year-old Penelope R. Convertino allegedly left a voicemail at Blackburn's Nashville satellite office. Voicemail allegedly stated, quote, "My name is Mother Effer, and I'm going to kill Marsha Blackburn. I'm going to shoot her with a gun. I'm going to blow up her head on national TV," among other explicit and threatening comments. She's charged with threatening to murder a federal official, intending to impede, intimidate, and interfere with official duties. If convicted, this kind of crime carries a sentence of up to 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. Investigators in Minneapolis searching for a specific motive in the deadly mass shooting Wednesday. 2 dead, 18 others wounded. Here's Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
15 of the injured are children between the ages of 6 and 15. 3 of those injured are adults in their 80s.
Yeah, the 2 dead are children ages 8 and 10. Meanwhile, hospital officials say they're still treating 9 of the patients, including 7 children, one of those critically injured, but they say all will make a full recovery. And officials say the writings of the suspect who died by suicide at the scene show an obsession with the idea of killing children. New CDC Director Susan Moneris says she's not leaving after the White House announced her firing after less than 1 month on the job. In another battle, Fed Board Governor Lisa Cook suing President Trump over his attempt to fire her, calling it unlawful.
This is different than what we're seeing with the Lisa Cook situation because there is an authority here for the president to fire her. She serves at the pleasure of the president in that role. So I think at this point it's a matter not of if, but when the president weighs in and does officially remove her from that position. The other big thing here, of course, is the big thing about the vaccine policy and those 4 senior officials at the CDC who have said they're resigning because of that pressure being put on Menarez. One of them is the chief medical officer at the CDC. Another is the director of the immunization center there.
That's ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers. And the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crash 40 westbound at Fessler's Lane. At Metro Center, we've got a crash partially blocking the on-ramp, 64 southbound from Rosa Parks Boulevard. And then police say there's a crash 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It's hour number 4 of the big broadcast this Thursday, August 28th. This is the last Thursday broadcast of mine at the age of 51. The last time that you'll hear from me at the age of 51 as I'm celebrating a birthday.
Your birthday's not tomorrow.
No.
But you said it's the last time people will hear from you at the age of 50.
Last Thursday broadcast is what I said. Last Thursday broadcast.
Yeah, that's what you started with. Then you moved to the last time you will ever hear from me.
Yeah, the last Thursday broadcast that you'll hear me from the you'll hear me on a Friday broadcast, and then that really is the last time you'll hear me from the age of 51 because I'm off on Monday.
Tuesday.
Monday being Labor Day. I'm off on Tuesday as well. What are you planning on doing on your day off there, Jackson, besides watching foosball?
That's probably about it.
Yeah? Yeah, you were telling me there might be a little pizza action later on tonight and some football.
Going to a buddy's house.
Man, oh, man. It's on, isn't it? I mean, doesn't it feel like it's on? I mean, you're going to watch that Cornhuskers game. Enough about football. We're not here to talk about football. We're here to talk about more serious things like insults to my shirt. Any chance... This is pretty good. Is Ken still... He's busy. He gets busy in the 6 o'clock hour. I like this suggestion, though. 4460 writes in and says, by the way, waffles is my safe word. Matt for the win. If you know, you know. And then he said, any chance next newscast we can get Brother Weaver to actually say the word and Jackson bleep him out? I think it will add more impact to the story.
Well, Ken does those live.
Yeah, so that's a little bit tougher when they are live. Trevor says, happy birthday, kid. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of votes for nincompoops in the news. We appreciate you. And a lot of you offering your insults to my shirt. If you're watching on Talk TV, go on over. If you're not, go on over to Talk TV, take a gander at the shirt and give it your best effort. I'm going to figure out something to give the winner because I've got a couple of really, really good ones. Really great insults. My shirt is festive. It is lively. It is summery. I feel like I need to wear it before the end of the season.
It is hideous.
It is good looking. There's a good looking man inside of it, and it's a good looking shirt. And no, to answer your questions, I did not wear this shirt to Ed Lee's barbecue earlier today. I wore a different outfit earlier today, and I changed into this outfit just for you guys. How about that? Right now, as I speak, at 9 minutes after 6 o'clock, my producer of this radio broadcast, Jackson Williams, is actively looking for the football game on TV, and I know it's exactly what he's doing. I see you.
You caught me.
I'm watching you do it.
I can't find it either. I'm having a tough time.
I'm watching you do it.
Yeah. I'm not going to stop.
Well, I don't know that I'll.
And you can't make me.
Well,
no. So quit asking.
It's true. I can't make you. I like that the liberals are saying the quiet part out loud now. I played this in the last hour. Let's dissect it this hour. Here is Representative Ilhan Omar, or however the hell you say her name. I don't really care. On with the very grumpy looking. There's a definition of, what do you call it? BRF or RBF? Which way is it? Which way do you go with? Do you know what I'm saying when I say BRF or RBF?
RBF is what?
Is it RBF, yes. Resting blank face?
Yes.
Well, Caitlin Collins, do you know who I'm talking about on CNN? She's the definition of RBF. And there she is with her RBF going hot and heavy, listening to Omar, basically talking about taking away your basic freedoms and liberties in the United States of America. Let's listen in.
I mean, that is a question that we've asked ourselves when Columbine happened back when I was in high school. We've asked ourselves that question when we saw little babies being slaughtered in Sandy Hook. We continue to ask ourselves that question. What I can tell you is that we collectively have a solution. We know that when we allow as a country for guns to be accessible to people in the easy way that it is in the United States, we continue to have these kind of tragedies.
As easy it is to get guns in the United States. Did you hear that? At least they're saying the quiet part out loud. I predicted that this would be become a part of the leftist narrative very, very soon. It's not enough that they say they want to take your long guns. It's not enough that they say they want to take your semi-automatic guns. They don't want to do anything about mental health, no matter how much they claim that they do, because they're redefining the terminology before our very eyes.
Have a solution. We know that when we allow as a country for guns to be accessible to people in the easy way that it is.
Well, it's not easy to get a gun in the United States of America. It is not. You have to go through a background check. I'm sad to report that apparently this individual in Minneapolis, Minnesota passed and apparently legally obtained the guns that he had: shotgun, handgun, semi-automatic rifle. By the way, there's no such thing as an assault weapon or an assault rifle. There's no such thing. But I at least appreciate the fact that Ilhan Omar is saying the truth. At least she's telling the truth, y'all. They want to take your gun. They want to they do not want you to have any easy ability to protect yourself with a gun, to keep and bear arms. And they are admitting it.
In the United States, we continue to have these kind of tragedies when we do not collectively as a community in the United States address mental health illness, when we don't see these.
I'm trying to address mental health issues and illness, ma'am, but y'all won't let me. Can we not identify the correlation between transgender identifying people and violence? Now, you know, the old saying goes, correlation does not equate to causation. I understand that. I'm not suggesting it, but I am suggesting that I believe that these individuals that self-identify as transgender have been sold a bill of goods about that issue. And I believe that we're going to find in the multitude of writings by this individual in Minneapolis that they were sold a bill of goods. We've already discovered that they regretted their transition. This Robert fella who became Robin wrote that he regretted it, that it did not work, that it did not do what they were promising him that it would do. And oh, by the way, he applied to change his name at the age of 17. And I have no idea what the police chief was talking about earlier today when he suggested that he had yet to speak to his mother, the shooter's mother. You haven't spoken to the woman that signed off on the name change, and by extension, one would assume signed off on the quote-unquote transition of this person. Why in the hell haven't you spoken to this woman? What's taking so long? So I would love to address those issues. But much like when liberals insert race into a given circumstance or situation, let's say, for example, you're talking about Ferguson, Missouri, and Michael Brown. Hands up, don't shoot, that narrative. When you're talking about Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, when you're discussing George Floyd, anytime there's an altercation and it's a negative outcome for an African-American involved in the altercation with police, liberals rush to the scene and insist, and activists and BLM and all these organizations insist that it's racially motivated. And then these talking heads, these leftist talking heads come out of the woodwork and they say the same thing. We need to have a discussion about race in this country. I'm ready to have a discussion about race in this country anytime you're ready. I'm ready to have a discussion about mental health issues in this country anytime you're ready. But they don't mean have a discussion where people might disagree on the inputs and the outcomes. No, what they mean is that we agree with them. Period. End of discussion. Leftists don't really want to debate issues. They want you to shut up, admit that you're racist or you're a phobic of some sort or another, you're some sort of ist, or you're too dumb to get it. Be quiet, and they're going to move along with their statism. They don't want to debate people. They want to degrade people. I'll let this moron finish
these
up.
Children and communities that are impacted and, look for signs that tell us there is something wrong. We know that the assailant in this tragedy had a YouTube page where he was posting, documenting the kind of insanity that unfolded today. Somebody saw that. And what we want to change is our perspective. We want to be able to become a country.
I wonder if someone like this fella was not inspired by some of the anti-Semitic conversations that they hear coming out of the halls of Congress. Representative Omar, because he was certainly an anti-Semite. Phraseology on his weaponry, such as 6 million was not enough, and other disparaging anti-Semitic remarks, anti-Trump remarks. This individual seemed to be inspired by the rhetoric of the left. Of course, you will not hear #NeverCNN talk about that. You just won't. They're too busy blaming Donald Trump and discussing other things. This does not fit their narrative, so they don't want to talk about the background of this individual.
That sees images like that and alerts someone, because if that would have happened today, 2 beautiful angels would still be with us. A whole community would not be devastated, and these families would still have their loved ones going home to them tonight.
Yeah, you just can't even imagine what those parents are feeling tonight. And as you noted, I mean, it's every parent's worst nightmare. And
well, it is every parent's worst nightmare, and I would agree with Caitlin Collins on that point, that you can't imagine what they're feeling, and I don't believe that leftist news organizations like #NeverCNN are making it any better for them. Let's talk to Bonnie, who's next up. Eric, we'll get to you. Larry, I'm coming up to you as well. Hello, Bonnie.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good, Bonnie. Thank you for calling in. I hope you're well.
Well, I've had a bad cold. I don't know if I've had COVID or what, but it was a really bad sinus infection.
Oh no! Well, I hope you're on the mend. You're on the right side of it.
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Okay.
I went to the casino the other day and won a little money, so.
Oh, what? You play the one-armed bandit or what there, Bonnie?
Well, I play the slot machines. They ain't no arm to it, but.
Yeah, they took, I still call them that, but they did. They took away the arms, didn't they?
For the most, there are a few that's up at the Mint in Franklin, Kentucky. They got an arm to it. You can pull it.
Well, I'm glad you I'm glad you got a little of your money back. I love hearing about it. So what's on your mind regarding transgender issues today, Bonnie?
Well, it's your show, and you talk about what you want, and I appreciate that. And people like you. I think you're a little cutie pie. But anyways, the people that want to change their bodies, they don't like themselves. And I just think that we shouldn't waste our time talking about stuff like that, because it's really irrelevant, and I think it makes us look kind of cheap talking about those old sleazeballs, because there ain't nothing we can do about it. And it just, I think, now this is just me, I think there's good people out there listening to your show, and they would really love to hear something else and talk about those type of people. I mean, God loves us all, but I just don't like hearing about it.
Well, I mean, it's a good point, and I appreciate it. Sometimes I feel compelled to talk about issues that are probably less desirable than others, because I feel like it's important. But I certainly understand where you're coming from. But I need to push back on this idea that that what we're dealing with when we're dealing with people who think they were born in the wrong body or whatever. I mean, I don't want to get back into it. You've heard me talk about it, but I mean, your point is well taken, Bonnie. That we try to balance some of this hard stuff and some of this type of topic with some lighter things and some more fun stuff. We do our best.
Well, thank you
All right.
taking my call, and I would like to hear more intelligent conversations on the radio than talking about them, because there ain't nothing that we can do. It's like somebody wanting to do drugs. You can't do nothing with those crazy people.
Well, you might be right, Bonnie. That's a positive. That makes a lot of sense. Where do you go play when you go play? You say you won a little money.
At the Mint in Franklin, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I won almost $18,000 in 6 months.
Holy shnikes. Bonnie, I need to take you up there. You're a good luck charm.
I know it. And listen, I know this friend of mine's listening, Pat, and if he is, hello out there. But he listens to your show all the time.
Well, hello, Pat, and thank you, Bonnie, and you're very kind. You hear, were you listening there, Jackson? You're too worried about the football game. You hear what Bonnie called me?
I can't get the football game on him.
Yeah. You hear what Bonnie said?
What'd you say?
Call me a cutie pie.
Not in that shirt.
Super Talk 99.7 WT. You know what, Jackson? Sometimes we play a game called The Last Thing That Matt Heard Before We Came Out of Break or before we go into break. And the last thing that I heard in my year before I was here to talk to you about Volunteer Outfitters was Jackson telling me, you need to get up to Volunteer Outfitters and get yourself a better shirt. I probably do. I bought a few shirts at Volunteer Outfitters. Good looking, too. I'm telling you, they got some great gear for the gang, the entire family at Volunteer Outfitters. Located on New Shackle Island Road, just north of all those high Nashville prices, friends, in Hendersonville, right? You get on Vietnam Veterans Parkway, get off on New Shackle Island Road, take a left, and you'll see them down on the left. When you get there, you'll see the beautiful store. They got a great facility. They got footwear. They've got gear for you for all shapes and sizes of folks. They've got men and ladies items, and they normally they use a seasonal approach. So you got fall coming up. That means bird hunting season. So they're going to have a lot of bird stuff out there. They still have a few of their summer items still in stock and on the showroom floor. They got a lot of game gear going on right now. So your favorite team is probably represented at Volunteer Outfitters. If they can get it, they have it. Not just for Volunteer fans. I think Tommy told me that his Bama gear was 30% off because the Bama fans, they don't have a lot of money. I think that's what he said. So ask him if that's what he said. I think what he said was, Bama fans, they don't have a lot of money, so I'm going to give them 30% off the gear. But I believe that was the case at least a month and a half ago. So ask Tommy and the team about that when you head up to Volunteer Outfitters, located in Hendersonville. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Volunteer Outfitters. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, as Ken Weaver just said. Hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Winding down this Thursday edition, lots of commentary on the... Oh, Jeff says he agrees with Bunny. Is that about me being a cutie pie, Jeff? That's probably so. That's probably so. I will have the best shirt insults on the way just after the bottom of the hour news with Ken Weaver. Do you know what bottom of the hour means? I guess you do because you work in radio.
Yeah, it's...
Your friend that you're going to watch football with tonight, how old?
25. If
you asked your friend what the bottom of the hour means, do you think they would know?
Yes.
Do you think most 20-somethings know that?
Yeah. We were like the last generation to be taught. Like,
about an analog clock.
Yeah.
And about what the top and the bottom means and the
Yes.
quarter hours and all of that.
And we went to the same institutions of learning.
So he's a smart fellow like you.
Yeah.
UT grad?
UT grad.
Mm-hmm.
Also went to high school here with me.
Y'all, I mean, we're all just full of it right now. We're all just, undefeated right now. Undefeated.
Well, Georgia's going to be defeated this weekend.
I don't think Georgia's being defeated this weekend. Maybe you could make the case in a couple of weeks.
Marshall's going to get in there.
By the way, what are you doing Saturday the 13th?
I don't know.
Huh. Let's see how this works out. I might have something for you.
Might have a little present for me.
You never know. You never know. Larry, speaking about CFB. Hey, Larry.
Matt, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I rarely call in to talk about football, but I always admired Roger Staubach, and when he started selling shoes, I even bought a pair while I was married to the woman that I was hoping a great white or a bull shark would get when she went swimming.
Did you say bull shark?
Yes.
Okay.
Bull sharks will eat anything, but evidently they won't even eat a piece of crap.
They won't eat. I must have missed the joke, Larry. Maybe I was doing too much. Start over, Larry.
Bull sharks will eat anything but that ugly shirt, Matt. That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay. So you don't think a bull shark would touch me in this shirt?
Yeah, no, I think a unicorn threw up and made your shirt.
I've gotten unicorn. I've gotten Walt Disney too.
Well, but no, I mean, and Brother Ken, I mean, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about this. Brother Ken thought it was funny because you asked me if I was rooting for the shark when my then wife went swimming in the ocean. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, I was.
Well, I oftentimes root for the shark. Sometimes I think we need to cull the stupidity.
All right, so I one of my best friends growing up was an obnoxious Cowboy fan. So I started liking the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we won 5 Super Bowls.
Oh, so you're to blame.
I don't let him forget it.
Well, don't let him forget it. And by the way, when's the last time 97? No. 95? When's the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl?
94.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, my Lord, Jim Kelly was still quarterback in the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And the Titans were still in Houston.
I'm a Titans fan, but man, I'm not holding my breath.
No, I mean, thank you for the Larry. I got to scoot. You know how much I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. I hope you're feeling all right. Look, the Titans' good season would be 7 wins. 7 wins would be exceptional season. Exceptional season. I mean, I would take. Wouldn't you take 7 wins?
We're going to do my prediction tomorrow, remember?
Oh, that's right. Tomorrow's prediction day on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, time for the news. We'll come up with some of the best insults of Matt Murphy's shirt. Plus, it's not just liberals that are making fools of themselves discussing the Minneapolis, Minnesota situation. Trey Gowdy made a fool of himself, too. We'll have that clip for you coming up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of things America is split 50-50 on, working from home versus working from the office, coffee versus tea. I go 50-50 on coffee versus tea. If tea had more caffeine in it, I'm talking about hot tea, I'd probably do more hot tea. But I digress. There's one thing we can all agree on. It's Matt Murphy, and we can agree on this. Taking your car in for repairs can be complicated and annoying. Your repair is only good as the person under the hood. Most of the problems in fixing your vehicle is a knowledge issue, not somebody trying to rip you off. A lot of techs are not properly trained. They end up guessing what to do, and it causes delays in getting your vehicle back or repeat visits for the same issue. For around the quarter of a century, Eurofix has done things differently. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, which is good because you know exactly what's going on before they start the work. Eurofix pays its techs more than any other company does to attract the best and the brightest talent. They still fix European vehicles at below dealer pricing, even though they pay their techs well. And there's a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all work performed by Eurofix. Rental cars are also available, locally owned, family-run, with 5 separate locations. Call them today. Book them online at myeurofix.com, myeurofix.com, or 844-EUROFIX. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. A moment of your time to talk about your home system when it comes to losing power. Do you have a plan? If you don't have an action plan, might I recommend you contact Premier Generators and talk to them about their home generator process. It is as easy as, it's as easy as can be. It's a lot easier than a lot of people think. Frankly, the generator kicks in moments after the lights go off. A generator can power your entire house. It uses fuel that you don't have to refill, which means it's as clean as can be. Oftentimes, it's natural gas or propane. It is easy to install a home generator because Premier Generators does it all. Premier Generators is your #1 Generac generator dealer in the state of Tennessee. And I want you to call them. Do me this favor. Just call Premier Generators. If nothing else, talk to them for a moment about the possibility of a home generator and thank them for sponsoring the Matt Murphy Show. They are a part of the reason why we're with you. And so whether you're in the market for a home generator or not, do me a favor. Call them at 855-POWER-IS-ON, 855-797-4766, and thank them for being a fine sponsor of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And ask them about how they can help you. Ask them about the 10-year warranty. PremierGenerators.com, PremierGenerators.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, man, some people are laying down on the Super Text line. People are laying down the beard talk. Murphy, my last name's Murphy. That shirt's loud. Ken Weaver's beard can be completely overlooked. And I sport a pretty nice beard that might give Ken a run for his money. I think we should have a Ken Weaver beard competition. Now, see, that, I like the way you're thinking. We are going to be, the next time I'm out and about is at Cabaret, and I'm hoping you'll be there with me, Jackson.
Open.
That's September 5th for the big debate night. After that, I think we have something scheduled in October in Murfreesboro. And I cannot be more definitive than to tell you that it will be at Hop Springs. Oh, wait, was I definitive? I think so. I think it's at Hop Springs. Do you know Hop Springs?
Have not been to Hop Springs.
Oh, man, you got to go.
Maybe I'll get to go with you.
Do you drink an occasional beer, Jackson?
The occasional
beer. Well, they're a brewery over there, Hop Springs. Good people, and we'll get you out. I'll buy you one or two,
or 7,
or 8,
or 20.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let's be a nincompoop in the news, Murphy.
I like it. I like the idea of having to Uber home from Hop Springs in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, all the way to Mount Juliet.
We live in a similar area. That would be a price.
That would be
that
nice.
would be a pricey Uber.
A nice price tag, but worth it, all in all. So why did I bring that up? Oh, maybe we could do the Ken Weaver beard lookalike competition at Hop Springs.
We'd probably have to spring Ken Weaver too, wouldn't we?
Yeah, probably so, but I think we could manage that. We'll get to more of your calls momentarily, plus the greatest Murphy shirt insults that we found today.
Your shirt is so ugly.
Your mama is so ugly. Your shirt is so ugly. You'd have to tie a pork chop around your neck to make the dog play with you. That's pretty good. Trey Gowdy.
Our system is reactive. Something bad happens, we react to it. And what people are crying for now is, how can we prevent this? How can we stop it? And the only way to stop it is to identify the shooter ahead of time or keep the weapons out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings does it take before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out? It's always a...
Wait, what? How many school shootings have to happen before we what?
Before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out. It's always a young white male, almost always. I mean, did anyone this morning think, I wonder if...
Well, so is Trey Gowdy saying that we should keep firearms out of the hands of young white males? Look at the military, Trey. A lot of young white males. We don't have precognition in this country, buddy. I mean, this is I think Chris Hand said it really, really well earlier today. It is a trash take. A trash take. And well spoken by Hand, and well done for his segment on this issue. What are you talking about? What I want to hear is the end of that sentence.
That was a female out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings?
Wait a minute. We can do both, man. We don't have to have it doesn't have to be one or the. So you're telling me to give up freedom to protect kids? Okay, well, hold on a second. What freedom are we talking about? We're talking about freedom of speech? We're talking about freedom to assemble? Freedom of movement? What freedom are we talking about, Trey? Trey sounds like a liberal. It sounds like Trey Gowdy, former representative from the state of South Carolina. We dodged such a proverbial bullet with this dude. I said it this morning on Nashville's Morning News. I was supportive of him being Attorney General of the United States of America, and I'm so glad that he wasn't. Horrible disappointment. Horrible disappointment, Trey Gowdy. In the meantime, Eric. What's going on, Eric?
What's going on, Matt? Hey, before I get to my point, Trey Gowdy evidently has never heard what Benjamin Franklin said about freedom and liberties. If you give up your freedoms for liberty, you give up both freedom and liberty. So, and number two, football. I'm not a real big football fan. I mean, there was a great quote from Terry Bradshaw in the movie Failure to Launch when Terry Bradshaw said, "I stopped caring about football when Roger Staubach was still the quarterback for Dallas." That was hilarious. Number three, you forgot one person, actually four of them, from the University of Georgia, the Four Horsemen. One of them, the running back, first draft choice, number 37, Keith Henderson.
Keith
Henderson went on to win 2 Super Bowls with San Francisco 49ers. Now to my point. We're talking about 911 Nashville. I'm sorry, Bonnie. This is where the smart conversation ended. 911 Nashville. With all our luck, we're going to end up with somebody like, I don't know, Nicolas Cage from Con Air with a Southern accent, or Out Comes the Knives with Dennis or Craig, the one that played 007. With his
Daniel Craig, yeah. Hold on a second. Benoit Blanc or whatever, Benoit Blanc. I loved his accent in that movie. No, I loved that.
I was always thinking, what is he, from Southern England or something?
I think he was supposed to be from. I think he was supposed to be from Louisiana. Benoit Blanc.
I think we need to get Bonnie into it though, because that accent. Well, she ain't got no accent, but somebody like her. But
don't you talk about that precious angel Bonnie.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. No, it's good. I love her. I love the way she talks. She talks like God. Well, if we're going to put somebody in there that has a Southern accent that is a good actor, the one from was it Fabulous Tokyo Drift. He was
Oh,
also in NCIS. New Orleans.
Eric.
I mean, he's got the accent, not accent.
Do I look like the type of guy that's ever watched Tokyo Drift?
No. He was also in NCIS New Orleans.
Oh, I've never watched that either. I'm not
yeah,
old. I'm not yet old enough. Eric, maybe my 52nd birthday I can begin watching. I think NCIS has a 55 and over limit, right? If you're under 55, you're not allowed to watch.
That and Gilligan's Island.
Man, Gilligan's Island was a great. Well, no, it wasn't. It was. You know what? Gilligan's Island does not hold up. I loved Gilligan's Island when I was a kid. There are certain shows that I loved as a kid that I still love. Gilligan's Island is not one of them. It's stupid. It's infuriating. And I understand you're supposed to suspend your disbelief, but my goodness gracious. And have you watched any Gilligan's Island?
I've seen clips, and I haven't been impressed.
I mean, do you understand the concept?
They're stranded on the beach. It's like Lost, but it's supposed to be
They're
funny.
stranded on the island. There's 7 stranded castaways here on Gilligan's Isle. There's the Gilligan and the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife. Now, why the millionaire and his wife go on a chartered boat ride with other ne'er-do-wells and morons when they are millionaires is beyond me. But whatever, a millionaire and his wife, a movie star, the professor and Marianne. Anyway, they get stranded. And they come up with ways to get off the island, Jackson, and Gilligan keeps screwing it up. Every episode is the same. Gilligan screws up a way for them to get off the island.
At some point, you have to sacrifice Gilligan.
At some point, you have to kill Gilligan.
At some point.
And maybe eat him.
Or you just tie him to a tree while we're working on everything.
Precisely. In the meantime, they were making coconut cream pies. They had a lot of coconut.
Where'd they get milk and...
My question was always, who got milked for the coconut cream pies? Because somebody's getting milked.
And where are they refrigerating these coconut cream pies?
They would feed Gilligan delicious coconut cream pies. Oh, also, the Howells had a lot of clothes and a trunk full of money. For no reason. Trunk full of money. It was a 3-hour tour, Jackson.
How long did the show go on?
3 years.
Oh, my.
I think that's right. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the insults on my shirt, I will award a winner here momentarily. Matt, I think that shirt looks like something that Dale Jackson and Tim Melton were wearing at the Hermitage Inn. That's an inside joke, but I appreciate it. Matt Murphy, can we sue you for that shirt? No, you may not. Matt, your shirt drew me to tune in to the YouTube channel. Congratulations. Listening a couple of hours prior on the radio. I figure, how bad can it be? Not good. I'll stick to the radio. Yikes. Matt, your shirt looks like something Mr. Farley would wear when inviting himself down to the Regal Beagle on singles night with Jack and Janet. Man, that's a great Three's Company reference. I love it. Looking back, I can't believe my parents let me watch that show. You know the premise behind Three's Company?
Three is company.
So,
I'm assuming there's a couple dating and then there's a third wheel.
Jack Tripper, I think it was. Needed a place to live. These 3 people, 2 girls and a guy, wanted to live in the same apartment, and Mr. Furley, or I think it was Mr. Furley, wouldn't allow cohabitation like that, and so Jack told him that he was gay, so that he would let him live in the apartment with the 2 girls, and he was not gay, and so hijinks ensued. He never had a relationship with either of the 2 girls, but he's always bringing girls home. Anyway. And it involved a lot of just, homophobic antics or, homosexual stereotypes, I guess more. Mr. Murphy, my last name Murphy too. That shirt's loud. Mario says Murphy's shirt wins nincompoops. Your shirt looks like a scene where Joe Biden's Uncle Bozy was eaten. That's good.
2703 says they can sue you for the shirt. All they need is $140 and a crayon.
True enough. Jay St. Clair can help you with that tomorrow on Friday. Matt, you look ready to head to the beach or Sonoma. Matt, I love your show, but your shirt looks like Walt Disney threw up. The meanest thing that I can say about your shirt is that it suits you. Matt, the shirt...
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Your shirt shows great confidence. Matt, your shirt looks like you hit a unicorn with your car and tried to clean it off. That's pretty good, too. Matt, you look like you just attended a Teletubby orgy.
That's my favorite.
I don't even know what that means.
It means, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Matt, that shirt looks like you lost a bet to Dylan Mulvaney and Rainbow Bright. Murphy looks like he's celebrating National Dress Like You're Not Ashamed to Be on a Sex Offender Registry Day.
These are good. These are really good.
That's so damn mean.
Keep reading.
I think I'm done. I think that's all I got.
That's the one you're going to end on.
You know what? I think maybe the Sex Offender Registry Day wins 55-13. Congratulations! You're the big winner of a bottle of water and an ink pen used by me on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, gang, U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest offers protection from bugs and nasties and creepy crawlies and things that want in your home to eat your food and to enjoy the AC, right? Free inspections are offered at U.S. Pest, and they never try to pressure you into doing anything you don't want to do. They just want to make sure that you've got quality pest control in your life. If you don't currently have a pest control company, come on now. You got to do that. You got to make sure that you don't have termites. Termites don't only threaten your family, they threaten your home itself. Preventative and corrective services available at U.S. Pest with a 100% money-back guarantee. Full-service pest control from spiders and stink bugs and ants and ladybugs and mice and silverfish and roaches and so much more. U.S. Pest is your one-stop shop for all things pest control. They can also help you with crawl space services. Ask them about it when you go over to their website, U.S. Pest. You can fill out a form there or give them a call at 590-1260. That's 590-1260. Go see our incredible friends at U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest, the one and only. Say hello to J.K. and Erica when you make the call that so many others have made to U.S. Pest. Let me just clean this up, okay? There was Mr. Furley, and then there were the Ropers. And if my memory serves me correctly, and look, I'm not definitive, but I think I'm 95% on this. Y'all help me out in the minute and a half we have left.
95% sure your shirt's super ugly?
I'm 95% sure, I'm 100% sure there were the Ropers and there was Mr. Furley. Mr. Furley was Don Knotts in another fabulous television performance by Don Knotts. The Ropers, I don't remember who they were, but she always wore that awesome muumuu. You know what a muumuu is, Jackson?
Yes. It would look better than that shirt.
Jackson, you don't like this shirt, I feel like.
I got beef with it, I'm not going to lie.
I kind of take it as a badge of honor that somebody that wears blank your T-shirt says Volunteers on it today.
Yeah, I'm repping the Vols today. Let's not...
I mean, that's all well and good.
It's the official start of college football.
Are you going to be present and accounted for tomorrow?
Yeah.
I mean, are we...
It's Big Orange Friday.
Are we going game gear tomorrow? We going some...
I'll rock some game gear.
I mean, I'll do the same thing. I mean, why not? I mean, it's the beginning of the old football season.
Oh, so it'll be an even uglier shirt tomorrow. You left yourself wide open for
is it time to go yet? Or what?
We got about 45 seconds.
Oh. Norman Fell, thank you so much. Mr. Furley was single. There was no chicken involved. Yeah, the ghost and Mr. Chicken. That's right. The Ropers were first, and then I don't know if one or both of them died. They were the original landlords, and Mr. Roper would not allow. He would allow Jack to be in the apartment when he found out that Jack was a swish. A swish. They used to say that on TV. I don't guess they do it anymore. Thank you, all of you going over to the YouTube channel or any of our talk television platforms to look at my ugly shirt. I appreciate you. First Amendment Freestyle Fridays coming up tomorrow. Friday as well. Look forward to that. Have a great evening, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.